Hello, welcome to Blackhawk TV for a wrestling quad. Baldwin, Woodville, Ellsworth, Eau Claire, Regis, and Spring Valley. I'm Jeremy Nygaard. I will be here with you for a while. We're going to have some better wrestling minds coming up to the booth here shortly. But happy that we can bring this to you for those of you that cannot make it to the match tonight. First thing, I wanted to thank all of our sponsors here at Blackhawk TV. Got quite a list here, so I'm going to just read them all. Firehelm, Langer, Timmerman Realty, St. Croix Garage Doors, Wisconsin Credit Union, CW Garage Door Distribution, Nielsen's Food, Strikers Lane, Flagship Ford, A-Star Concrete Pumping, Precision Excavating Enterprises, Precision Truck Service, American Family Insurance, Justin Nygaard Agency, Schaefer Financial Services, Blackhawk Garage Door, Anytime Fitness, The Forge Chiropractic, Pete's Construction, Baldwin Lightstream, Auto Appeal, O'Connell Funeral Homes, Fenner Jewelers, First Bank of Baldwin, Charlotte Heimer with Aflac Insurance, Christo Orthodontics, TMS Auto, and Village Pharmacy. Thank you to all of our sponsors. To my understanding, this is the first of only 2 home wrestling meets on the season. The last one I believe is in January. I anticipate Mr. Dave Ramberg, Encyclopedia of Prep Wrestling, to be joining us here, and Jordan Bonte as well. One thing that you're going to notice if you haven't already, obviously it hasn't started. We should start here around 5 o'clock. But one thing you will not see because of the setup of the gym and the setup of the cameras is you will not see the score. So we'll do our best to keep the score for you. We're gonna get Dave on a headset here. You look pretty spiffy there, Dave.
Well, thank you very much. That's why I'm so late. I had to make sure the tie was in place. And
Did you tie that yourself?
no, my wife did.
Okay.
And I never untie it.
So, Dave, I was going to tell you, I was going to leave my house about 4:15. Typically, it's about a 6-minute drive to get here.
Okay.
Had to stop by the bank, First Bank of Baldwin.
All right.
That should add about 3 minutes to my drive. I should be here by 5:25. Here's how the world just didn't want me to be here tonight. I pressed my garage door button.
Didn't work.
Doesn't come up.
Okay.
So I'm smart enough. I'm not great with things like this, but I know that I can just release it, open it up. But I see that I have a little red light on, so I push the button and it keeps tripping. So eventually I get out, having it worked. You know, it's working. I get to the bank. I have to wait at the bank. As soon as I'm done at the bank, train goes by, which typically wouldn't be a big deal because I'm turning left, right? Except there's vehicles there in the way, so I can't turn left.
Okay.
Got to go back down Main Street. Main Street's backed up. I've never been on Main Street where I'm not moving. I get to the stoplight, but because there's so many cars waiting for the train, it doesn't turn green. And then when it turns green, we get gridlock where there's cars in the intersection. And I roll in here. 28 minutes later. It should have been about 10. 18 minutes of traffic in Baldwin. So I made it. I don't look nearly as nice as you do.
Well, I try. I come into back way by the airport, so I don't have to deal with stoplights,
It's true.
trains, planes, automobiles, whatever. But I was going to say with the garage door, you got to make sure them sensors are lined up.
So what it was, I think, is that my wife's got a bunch of lights and we got a lot of melting. So I think there's some moisture and I don't know what the outlets are called that get the little they got the little button in the middle.
Oh, okay.
But it was tripped, and every time I would push it, it would just trip again.
So, yeah, there's probably some water, whatever. So, yeah, that's. I know my wife runs into those problems, and my garage is heated, and I'll wake up in the winter months, and the garage door's still open.
Well, your garage isn't so much a garage as much as is a weight room.
Well, we try to. There's there's some toys in there yet. I was actually looking at a shed so I could get more room for weights in there.
There you go.
Figured once the kid leaves, I need more room.
Or you need more weights.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Dave, I don't know a whole lot about what's going on here tonight. I know we have Baldwin, Woodville, Ellsworth, Regis, Spring Valley.
Regis is not here. The flu's going around.
So we're not a quad.
We're a tri, but what's really interesting, people, is Baldwin is in really good shape right now. We have 25, 30 kids out. We can field almost an entire JV. So our JV is going to be out on mat 2, the one that's going to be on the, if you're viewing this, the one on the left side. So we've got some really good kids. We're going to be wrestling some of their varsity kids too.
Okay.
In that, so we're not keeping score. There's a couple sides to this. We are sending it's called Varsity Reserve,
Okay.
to a couple varsity tournaments. They're going to be dueling, hopefully Somerset and Prescott this year, and they're going to also be going to the Spooner tournament this weekend under the guys, their varsity reserves. And it'd be really hard to explain, but they changed how they do events this year. We used to have a 7 and 7, 7 duels, 7 tournaments, but this year's 14 events.
Okay.
With a match limit of 50. So with that, what I think is so positive about this, we have a nice team. It's a good team. So does Ellsworth. We can get our kids now, how they've changed us. We have some very good backups. The wrestle-offs are really close. They couldn't crack the lineup, but they can go to varsity tournaments and wrestle other schools' varsity. So we might have 2 kids on a team that might, per se, at conference, could finish first and second. They can't wrestle at conference, but just overall what we're looking at, it's a really good thing going forward. And how they've opened up the WIA to us being able to do that stuff.
So you said 50 match limit. Will kids actually get close to that this year? And how many? I mean, we were talking mid-20s last year, right? So we're wrestling significantly more.
So our school record is 48 matches in a season.
Okay.
Under our current schedule, it would be 50 matches going into regionals. So possibly with some wrestlebacks, and if your team's really good, involved in the state series, you could end up with 63 matches.
Holy smokes.
They based it off of Stoughton. They would usually have about 48 matches at regional time. And 14 events, 48. But I was just on the phone today. It was kind of a treat. Old NCAA champion Cole Conrad is coaching a school in the city, St. Thomas Academy, and I was on the phone with them today, and we only have 12 events scheduled. We might get them and another school in a tri-meet in January.
So you haven't maxed out the
No.
meets that you have scheduled yet for this year?
So we're not looking for our 14th, we were looking for 13, just in case. We're going to be, one of our varsity reserves we talked about earlier is plugging. We have some illness on the team, is plugging in. A couple of those kids that wrestle both varsity and JV might end up getting 14 events. So
Gotcha.
we're just leaving that little breathing room. So I know we've got to meet on Thursday, and after that, Newt and I were talking, and Jared, that we have to sit down, and Jason's, our athletic director's made an Excel spreadsheet, and we have to have 3 schedules. Jason already has it, but we just got to make sure we plug the guys in there correctly. Right now it's kind of loose. We've all got it rolling around in our trucks or at home on our desks. We just got to get it on the sheet.
Gotcha.
Or double check it. It's on sheets, but we just got to double check it.
So one thing I did do for you is the chat room's open.
Okay, nobody's chatting.
Well, it's early.
It's early.
It's early, and I know how you, when you're on the other side of things, you love to chat. So
well, I kind of, this weekend, which was fun, Baldwin's coming off of really good start to the season. We 3-0 in dual meets. We're in Osceola. We beat Osceola, Prescott, and Somerset. We went to the Lakeville North tournament. Some really good schools there.
How'd that end up going?
We got third. We
Okay.
got third overall. 3 kids in the finals. I mean, 2 champs, 1 runner-up. And, you know, when you're wrestling schools of 3,000, but what I thought was really funny was the school that won it is smaller than Baldwin.
Really? Who was that?
Goodhue, Minnesota.
Wow.
Tough school. Kind of a family, driven names. But just they were fun to watch. And the team that finished fourth was Byron, who's another 400 school enrollment. Then you have Cottage Grove with 2,800. But last week we didn't have any duels. We went into Eau Claire Regis or Eau Claire North. I'm sorry, and that was supposed to be a 29 or 31 team tournament due to the snow. Um, Turned into less than 16. But what was interesting, Simley came in from Inver Grove. They last year were the number one team in the nation.
Okay.
Now they've slipped. They're down a little. They were 15, but or 16 at the last I looked. But the nice thing, I think they had 7 kids in the finals, but only 3 won. So we had Arrowhead, who's the top D1 school in Wisconsin, was there. Once again, we finished third, just a few points behind Arrowhead. We could have been finishing second, and Simley wasn't all that far out front of everybody. So we're really excited for the start of the season. It's been very good. Some people will say, you get third at a tournament, well, you didn't win it. When we're wrestling state champs, national champs, Goodhue's team state champ, Simley's a state champ, ranked number 1 in the nation last year, and then Arrowhead, that's a predominantly state finalist, or always threatens to be there.
Right.
It feels good.
Right, and ultimately the goal is not to win those tournaments. The goal is to...
Yeah, at the end of the year, we're looking regionals. Amory is coming back with a better team this year. But our duel is going to be one interesting how it goes. But, we look at the regionals with St. Croix Central's got, they got a nice young team. They're going to be a handful for us. And Osceola's got a nice run of about 5 guys right in the middle that could beat anybody in the conference at any time. So we're hoping that they keep developing, and we keep developing, and maybe we knock off a couple Amory guys. Baldwin slides in there. We're already looking at all kinds of different angles right now.
Yeah, for sure.
So
is Jordan coming up here?
I felt bad. I saw Jordan the other day, and we were talking about it a little bit, but I just got busy today, and I thought he was going to be up here, but Jordan's got a job, and I know that they're kind of busy. Somebody's on vacation, something of that nature, but Jordan also has got a new title to his name. He is a middle school coach this year.
Nice.
So I was giving him some handles along with Tanner Booth, another former wrestler who helped coach last year at Baldwin. And they both got the job. I'm just there to help out now. And I just teasing Jordan. He's not that far removed. The headache he gave me for all those years, that now he gets to have it.
Yeah, especially with the middle schoolers, right?
Yeah. They're a fun group. The middle schoolers. We're down a little. I had to sign up this morning, hoping we get around 15. Just down a little, but the youth numbers for our younger kids, 5th graders, have big numbers. It's just, I don't know. But the way I talked to Coach Benoit, it doesn't sound like he's got a lot of basketball players in that group either.
In
6th and 7th grade or 6th grade, I think they do. 7th grade, they don't.
7th and 8th grade, I think basketball-wise is pretty light, and it's been like that since they were real little. 5th and 6th grade is heavier. Here we got Don Turman on the PA tonight. So would it make more sense to have? Are we going to have both mats active at the same time?
Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting here. Um, we've got a little bit of a conundrum. We've kept a couple of the JV guys on varsity. We're anticipating due to sickness and illness that there might be some moving around.
Okay.
Um, but we want to get going over on that other match too. But right now, since I'm up here, Owen's the strategist. Owen and I sat down and we went through every scenario. And if I go dead a little bit, I might be texting with Owen, Coach Owen. So right now they got the lineup going on. We're starting at 113 tonight, and everybody's out. This is a conference duo, even though it's a try. So I wanted the traditional handshake and greet, and the kids enjoy this.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so we got to do that.
So where's Spring Valley?
They're sitting right behind mat 2 right now.
Gotcha.
So we can go to one mat till they get guys out there. So it's going to be, to Spring Valley and Ellsworth fans, we apologize if it's a little wonky at first and then we go to 2 screens, but just because Regis isn't here. And this is going to be a real fun match. Just due to we have some injuries and some illnesses going on. We don't have everybody here too, so this is a very, we could lose this match due to this. Just if they make the right moves and we don't.
Right.
So what people don't realize is, so the weights are starting at 113. That was drawn earlier, but they have a coin flip out there, and so if it starts at 113, that's match 1.
Right.
So you either want even or odd. That means whoever comes out to the table first. So if we want odd, that means we have all the even match numbers. We force them to come out on the odds.
Yep.
So then we know. Then if we get a matchup we want, we're sending our JV kid out there right away. Once again, their JV, our JV, could be varsity on a lot of lineups. So there's some good high quality wrestling. And plus, we've got some kids that are first year on varsity and it's not going as well for them. So, we try to, maybe we can plug somebody in and just give them the night off or maybe get a better matchup for them.
Yep.
Just to, build their confidence back in the room a little bit. So, and the other downfall is for mat number 2 is we kind of wanted all coaches over here for a little while until we get a feel of this. So
yeah, we can bounce around from one mat to 2 mat for sure. I do have to bail here at one point to get my daughter home for basketball and get my boys fed.
Because they after this one, then it'll be Spring Valley and Ellsworth.
Okay.
And being a Blackhawk TV, I'll call it fair. I told the seniors to come up because I'd like a few of the seniors to have a little time.
Absolutely.
So everybody gets to know them. So if anybody's from Ellsworth on here, please help me out. I wasn't paying a lot of attention. We're sending out Colton Hush. Colton won both tournaments. Both the Lakeville and the Eau Claire tournament. He beat a very highly ranked Simley kid in the finals. And starting off the year, I believe 10-0 if I'm not mistaken. Placed 3rd at state last year. The kid's a sledgehammer. That's a term of endearment, Jeremy.
Absolutely. He took a quick 2-0 lead there. What was the move that he got?
He is single leg, and the kid hung his head, and he's got him right now in the near side cradle. With having Coach Fink, 2nd year on staff, Coach Newton is his 8th year. Coach Fink runs a lot of the practices, so it's up 5-0. It was a 2 takedown, 3 near fall, and a near side cradle. But having Jared in there, Jared is a lot more. He does a lot more with the practices, and Newt fine tunes the kids more, wrestles a lot more with the kids. Which is, at his age, I give him credit. He still can go 6 minutes with most of the kids up to a certain weight.
See, and the difference is you would never have to go. There it is.
Pin. Just minute 20, 26 into the first. Colton gets the Hawks on the board, 6-0.
And now what I was about to say is, you would never have to go 6 minutes because after about 40 seconds, you got that guy on his back. It's over.
Well, actually, Jeremy, I will. Somebody had asked me that, and I said plain and simple. I was a tech fall guy, so I did actually go for a while.
But now, I'm talking now.
Oh, now, 10-second goes, we call it done. I don't even wrestle anymore. I can still hand fight with the kids, but I'm just learning how to get back on the knees.
Should I go to this one?
If you want to split them both up, I
Okay.
do have that. So on Baldwin Ellsworth, we got Levi Nelson, who's his uncles and families, they're from the Richmond. It's a Mitchell family. A lot of wrestlers, a lot of really good wrestlers. And we got Cole Brosh, sectional place winner last year. Solid 2 times he's gone to sectionals. He's in deep, no out of bounds. And then I did take a picture, Jeremy. I come a little more prepared.
Well, I mean, you're not a rookie now. You're a grizzled veteran.
It's amazing that I still remember some of these kids, and it's not even that I remember these kids after all these years. So we got a Spring Valley. Looks like we got a Veenendahl kid from Ellsworth, not Baldwin, and Blizak from Spring Valley.
Okay.
So little there, we got Gable Franson is their new head coach this year. He is an Ellsworth guy, 2 takedown for Baldwin. He is a 2-time state champion for Ellsworth. Big wrestling family. His dad was a national champ in River Falls. And his tie to Baldwin is his aunt, is Lila Larson.
How about that?
Miss Larson. So
In the doorway, as a matter of fact.
yeah, in the doorway. So, and Gable is Gable, I don't know if there's many guys in this gym that would hang with Gable for a wrestling match right now.
Is that a wrestling name? Like if you're birthed with the name Gable, that you have
Yes,
to wrestle?
he was named after Dan Gable. So, and he was quite accomplished wrestler, wrestled in college, was an All-American in Fargo. And he's a great young coach, and I'm glad he finally stepped up this year. I talk to him often. He's a super nice guy, and I've seen him coach, and he's very good with the kids. Knows how to talk with them real well. But I was gonna say it's up 2-0 Cole Brosh riding a. It looks like he's got a 2-on-1. He's got 2 hands on that guy's forearm. And about the end of the period here.
Is obviously those watching online can't see the scoreboard, but is this I mean, we used to use just last year we said the regular scoreboard. Is this like a special?
You got me. I'm just
Don't-
looking at this and I'm just trying to figure everything out. So
Because there's a lot of things going on there. Like I didn't know if this was something that people could view online. And
well, at some point during we'll have to get a picture of this. This is very nice. So I think it was Cole's choice, and he deferred, and Ellsworth took down. Which Ellsworth, pretty big. When it's their choice, they usually go down. You know, at tournament time, a lot of the kids were like, "No, both on your feet," because it's still early in the year, and we've both been doing a lot of, we call it footwork, but a lot of takedowns. So it's just being on the mat is a whole different. Sometimes you got to get the guys conditioned to be able to get off their bellies that this guy is. But I'll give credit. Cole just dug out, got the wrist, got way off to the side, popped it up on his back, and now he's probably looking to bar it. That if you guys watched this last year, we run the bar.
yeah, and it looks like it hurts.
It really does. So Max, with the big guys, he's exposing them. And the ref is counting. We need 5 swipes, and then it'll be 3 points. 2 swipes is only 2 points. So, or anything less than 5 points is 5 swipes is 2 points. So this is pretty tight. It should be a 3 count. So Levi is a freshman. Good little wrestler. I've watched him and coached against him. He'll never quit. And he does, I wouldn't call him a full-blown farmer, but they do have a farm that he lives on. So he understands cleaning behind the animals and putting food in front of them.
Hey, it's half the battle, right?
Yes, it is. Well, I see a few people online. I will say this individual from Pepin County had 1,300 career points in basketball.
But zero takedowns, right?
Yeah, 0 takedowns. 0 takedowns. The great Plum City back in the day. So I think we had talked about that. Scoring 1,300 points is 1,000 points is pretty incredible.
Absolutely.
Got a little stop in the action. And what I'm having a hard time figuring out is Cole got 3, but he also got 3. It should be 8-0. And so, Jeremy, when you coach basketball, did you have some of your assistants who had to do certain things, and that's what they were responsible during the game?
Yes.
And the role I have a lot, if I sit as a coach with Newt and Jared, is I always make sure the score.
Okay.
Or the time, or the clock starts,
yep.
things of that nature. Yes, 2 points. That's kind of new, guys. He had his feet inbounds, and he was able to wrap both arms around between his knees and ankles. It used to be you had to get above your knees or around the waist, but it's more of a college aspect now that they want wide open scoring. Cole cut him. They feel like on your feet is the way to go.
So he lets him up. He gives him a point because he plans to take him down and get to him.
Yeah. So he's taking him down pretty easily.
We can go to 2 screens now that we have a little action over on that screen too.
Yep, and I believe it's the Vienendahl and Blesik are wrestling over here.
So it's going to be backwards, but you're going to refer to mat 1 as the mat that's on the right of the screen, and mat 2 is the mat that's on the left.
Yes, and I don't know if I messed anything up there. I just look at that brand new mat we have. We're a few years old. We call that the mat 1.
Yep, no, that makes sense.
Which is a very nice mat, I might add. And I will say whoever rolled out mat number 2 rolled it out wrong. So.
Like it should be turned 90 degrees?
Yeah, so BW faces each side, but.
Hey, we can't all be perfect.
Well, you got to realize the kids did it.
Kids especially.
They did it correctly. Technically, there's a green and red mark in the middle there, kind of when they get in the referee's position, or they just started there. Green is always supposed to be on the right-hand side.
Okay.
And sometimes when they roll it out wrong, and then red, we're the home team, and they'll put it on the other side, so we got to walk to the other side of the mat instead of just walking straight out.
Gotcha.
And it's not a big deal. It's nothing in the rules, but it bugs me.
Yeah. So we got a win over here, and we got some action over on the left side.
Yes, it was I think 4 point and an escape. So I believe the Spring Valley gentleman is up right now, but he's not in a good spot.
I feel like if I wrestled, I would spend a lot of time not in a good spot.
So that win by Cole Brosh puts Baldwin up 9-0. So I was wrong on the score. I thought there was another back point in there, but
well, maybe there was, and nobody was watching for it, and that's why it's.
I might say something, but seeing as your boss is a ref out here, I'm not going to say a word.
That's not my boss.
Oh, he's not?
I work at the other school.
Okay, well, when you come over here, he's kind of all of our bosses, so. And then Thane Ancheks. So at 26, I did not. They sent out Penn. Penn is a very, very talented sophomore. And if I'm not mistaken of memory, he got third at sectionals last year. Most years third gets you to state. Last year it didn't. He is a very accomplished wrestler. And for Baldwin, we got Hunter Bonte, who is he got third at sectionals also last year. He's been around for a while. Hunter's he's the epitome of the wily old veteran that you bring in for the relief pitchers. So he kind of reminds me a little of the pitcher on Major League.
Okay.
That was helping Ricky Vaughn there.
The one that was kind of broken down. And
yeah, broken down.
Didn't have anything to him at the end, right? Wasn't that kind of the story?
Yeah, didn't have anything into the end. I'm not saying anyway that Hunter cheats out there. He of all my years of coaching, he uses the mat. He knows where out of bounds is. He knows where he's at every time.
Yep.
And he's just a tough out. He wrestled a very good kid this weekend to a real close match. That kid pinned everybody in under a minute, including his finals match. But with Hunter, he had his hands full with Hunter.
And I think with a lot of sports, I mean, obviously athletic ability is a huge deal, but there's something to be said about the intelligence that you bring to whatever sport it is too.
Yeah, he does a good job. So he's up 2-0 on an early takedown. And he's got 20 seconds left, and we talk a short time. We don't give up points in the last 10 seconds of any periods. And you've worked so hard all period that you don't want to give up points.
Right.
And he's got to hold on for another 5 seconds. He's not in a good situation. And he held on. That's nice. So he goes into the second, 2-0. Kind of looks like he's a little dinged up. And I apologize. What happened over on Matt? Was it a pin?
I'll be honest. I was going Wayne's World over here on this camera.
Well, once again to the Spring Valley and Ellsworth people, we apologize, and we'll have some Baldwin kids over there. It's hard to call both at the same time, knowing that this is going to be a very good team duel. What's going on?
And so, in fairness to you, I'm not a whole lot of help when it comes to.
Well, the compliment I got last year was sometimes I've coached for so many years, much like we wanted to talk basketball. I've forgotten a lot, or I don't realize to the average fan how much we're looking for certain things, but then the average fan has no clue what position you're in.
That's me.
And I think wrestling is still the most easiest sport. I mean, everybody asks questions. The idea is you take your wrestler down, and you pin his shoulder blades to the mat.
Correct.
Now, in between how you do that, there's a many different ways to take him down. Then when you start throwing freestyle and Greco into the mix, I'm still scratch my head with all the wrestling that I've gone to. That is that really 2? Is that 4? What's 5? What's 3? So I've asked quite a few questions too over the years.
See, you say it's simple, but I mean that's like playing basketball with lots of different sets of rules. Right? Basketball's played with one set of rules and some slight modifications from level to level. But
yeah,
I mean there's one where it's what's Greco? Is it all throws? It's all
throws. The only time you can use your legs is stand. You can't attack them. Can't use them for offense.
So that's like playing basketball without jumping.
Oh no, Greco's slowly my favorite becoming.
No, but I mean it's a completely different set of rules, and we still call it wrestling.
But you have to score at some point without jumping. So Matt 2, we got Drew Stark, Baldwin, hard-working freshman. He is just a pleasure to be around. And a Mirth from Spring Valley, which there's a few Mirths in Spring Valley. I believe his grandpa was a backhoe operator. Lived down on County Line, I believe, but if I got it wrong, don't be mad.
I had Drew in class for 2 years, and I can guarantee you at some point I probably tried to convince him to be a basketball player.
Yeah. he's raw, but you know, he comes in and he works harder than he doesn't stop working.
Yep.
I like his attitude. It's very coachable.
Get him off the screen. I gotta go a little bit wider here.
Okay, over here in the Ellsworth, Mr. Penn got an escape, and it is now 2-1 down the edge of the mat. Fighting, the hand fighting. You gotta wonder, you know, because there's been some illnesses going around. That sometime your gas tank. I don't know if these two have really been affected, but I know some of the kids on the team have been.
When you said both these guys took third sectional, we're in the same sectional, right?
Yep.
So who changed their weight class?
Mr. Bonte was 120, and Mr. Penn, was he one? Yeah, he was 113.
So they both came up.
Yep. They both came up. Drew's still holding on for a 2-0 lead. Yeah, he did. You know, he's not tired. He's jumping around in between. So, yeah, we were thinking that the Penn might move up. So if everybody noticed, they probably didn't on the screen. We had two kids standing by Coach Newt. Coach Newt has the final say in who's going to go out there. And yeah, we had a kid warming up. So we'll get some matches in. We didn't send all of our JV over there just due to, you know, it's a little gamesmanship. So we're going to send out.
Ellsworth had to send their guy out first for this match.
Yeah. So they lined up Penn. And we're like, we want that matchup. Now here's a choice. Now if Hunter can keep building his base the whole period, kid from Ellsworth's down by a point. Do you ride him out for the loss? And you get no points to ride him. In high school. College you do, high school you don't. Or does he think he can turn them? There's 2 swipes, 3 swipes, 4. He got his 5 swipes in, so he just gave up 3 back points. So, and fighting off your back wears the guy out a little bit. 4-0 on mat number 2. I just looked over and I see we've got Carrie Campbell. Miss Campbell's working that table.
So what's Hunter's move here? He's got a minute left and he's down 2.
Well, he's got to build his base, get his knees under him. You don't reach back, but he did, and he needs to get his knees under him, get a good base, pop a leg out, work for a stand-up, or switch a hip. Now, this early in the season, and refs are different. Every ref's different. This is odd. Half banana split. That now he's got to look for a little more, but you just got to build your base, look for a reversal or a stand up. He's in an all right position, but there's just not enough time to work the move. So 7-2, Mr. William Penn wins this match, puts them on the board, 3 team points for a decision, anything less than 8. Tough match. I'm sure we'll see it later in the year, unless we move around. The thing with wrestling is they fat test, and they tell you that what weight class you can go to, or the lowest one you can, and some of the kids get there, some don't.
Well, while we're waiting, I'm going to read an advertisement here. Precision Truck Service is a full-service heavy truck and trailer repair shop located in Baldwin, offering all types of general repair for heavy truck and trailer, diesel, mobile service, alignments, computer diagnostics, welding and fabrication, and sandblasting. As a Michelin heavy truck tire dealer, we offer best in pricing on Michelin, BFG, and Uniroyal tire brands, balancing and installation. Give us a call at 715-760-0768 or stop in. We are located conveniently on the north side of Baldwin under the water tower.
All right. So here's another little, I believe Max Langer. It looked like him checking in. He's he's a light 126 pounder, and they didn't have a 138 pounder, so they have a very good 32 pounder. So what they were kind of hoping that we'd send out our really good 32 pounder right here, so they could get a forfeit or they could get a win at 38. I'm sure that they're thinking, but we won the flip, so this was our big key one. So we kept Garrett Guthrie over here, and we sent him out at 32.
And that saved who now? Who's going to wrestle up?
Ty Fink will be wrestling at 38, and Caden Holdorf will not be in the lineup. Which, we have all these wrestle-offs. So we wrestle. So if you're a 26 pounder in our room, you'll be wrestling off a 32 pounder.
Right.
Just so if there's any parent or anybody questioning what we're doing, that's not good for Drew. Okay, with that reversal, Drew's still up 8-3. Just gave up 2 back points. He's still up 8-5. You just got to keep wrestling. But going back to that, so if there's anybody that has any complaints, versus a parent or somebody that comes in there, we wrestle these kids off. Up weights, down weights, just so if we move a kid, like this example, plug a JV kid in, he's beating the backups at, even though he's a 26 pounder, he's beating the backups at 32.
Right.
So, and Garrett's a kid that he's not trying to lose weight. It's just with the practices, he had no intentions of going down to 126, but he's there now. So it kind of limits where we can put him. We can't go up to 38 because he started the year a little lighter, or a little heavier, I should say. So out here on mat number 2, we'll have Miss Lindsay Stark and Clint Hoyer from Ellsworth. I don't know a lot about the Clint Hoyer. I know Lindsay Stark's a freshman, and she's a really talented wrestler. She's won several youth titles, and can compete to a certain degree at the varsity level at 182 pounds,
She looks strong.
Yeah, she's very strong. Comes from the mighty Stark family from Spring Valley. So Jeremy, my daughter's related to all the Starks. And yes, that is a cousin to the Stark that just wrestled for Baldwin.
Well, how about that?
So
small world.
So Garrett's up, got some back points, or did he get a takedown?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Okay.
I think they were back points, but
Where did he start the period?
I don't know.
Okay, all right. Well, Garrett's up 4-0. And just to make sure I know, you know what? Part of that is
how they got their points.
Yeah, it's up on the board, but it's not correct. Yeah, so we'll figure this out. But
so it's currently 4-0. That's what I know.
Yeah, it's 4-0. So yeah, these scoreboards are kind of fun. It's not even. I wonder if this is it's Score Vision.
Yeah, it's the actual scoreboard for this scoreboard.
So Flow Wrestling bought Track Wrestling. So anybody that's in the audience that understands wrestling, Track Wrestling is huge.
Yep.
It is the most awesome way to get through. But Flow Wrestling, the NBC basically owns them. They have Flow Softball, Flow Gymnastics. I've been able to watch Morgan Smetna, Baldwin pitcher, on Flow Softball because we have the account for Flow Wrestling. They give you some other freebies with that. So they have a really cool system they're coming out with, so everybody can follow along at home and how they do it. And I was wondering if that's their new system because Principal Brandvold had said something about this.
Yeah, that this could be something that people could watch.
Yeah. So Miss Stark gets a fall on mat 2, and I think now on mat 2 we got Mr. Hunter Gloop and a Gavin Motz from Spring Valley is going to be out there.
So Ben Campbell says Garrett shows
bottom.
Got a takedown.
Oh, he did both up. Okay. Garrett's a good, he's a tough kid in most positions. He's a lot of fun. And believe it or not, like I said, he's a 126-pounder. Nothing like his oldest brother, Blaine, who's sitting in the audience, that started his high school career at 170.
So maybe we should get Blaine up here and he can take my spot.
No. I think Blaine is pretty enthralled with watching Garrett now. So, which I understand. I think Reese is a junior basketball player, and he's tall.
Yeah, he's tall. He can shoot it.
So, now what Garrett needs to do when he was in that spot is to crawl his left hand out farther to stretch the kid out. But, you know, it's a tough position. You can get some back points, but, you know, you can't get a pin off of it, but it would have been nice to get a couple back points. So Garrett did get a stall call in there. He's up 5-0. So, you know, here's the other situation is, so you're down going into the third period, and when you're down by like 4 or 5 points, do you take down and try to escape right away? And if you're not, you got the chance of being ridden out the whole period, or you go both on your feet, or take top possibly. So this is 5-0. I think the Ellsworth guy he's a little light. He's definitely not a 132-pounder, but he's a little light for 126. So Garrett's got a few pounds on him, not more than 5, but it's kind of worn him down on top here. So the kid took down, and Garrett rode him out and got a stall call. So Garrett, unless something happens, looks like he's gonna win 5-0.
That's going to be good for 3 points, right?
Yeah, 3 team points, and it'd be 12-3 Baldwin. And Glooper, his name is Hunter Gloop. I call him the Glooper because we got 3 Hunters on our team. Got the takedown. He's running a true and tried half Nelson. My favorite move.
I even knew what that was called, Dave.
Yeah, but when kids think that they get so good, they can't run the half Nelson anymore. They got to run the triple Lindy, whatever. I watched the movie the other day.
I don't know what that is.
Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. Oh, it's a classic.
It sounds like a classic if Rodney Dangerfield's in it. I mean, by classic, I just mean old.
Old. Well, we got Albrights and Excavating in the house.
Yep.
And I got all Max has got all of his uncles in the house with Troy and Skelly. I see there's a nice crowd up here, though.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of grandparents. It's just, the bottom line is I'm just happy that we have wrestling and we can come watch it. So this is kind of, Corey Pollinger is a solid kid from Ellsworth. And we've got Mr. Ty Fink, coach's son. They're both 32-pounders, but they happen to be wrestling at 138. So we wanted this matchup. We feel Ty Corey's a really good wrestler, but we feel Ty can maybe get some bonus points out of this. But
and Ty wrestled at what last year? He was it 13 or was it?
Not 126 he wrestled.
He was 26 last year?
Yep. Double armbar.
And there's your bonus points.
Yeah, there's our bonus points. It stretches out to 18-3, but we do need the bonus points. And the Glooper, nice takedown to the back. Feet the back. If anybody in the audience ever goes to a tournament and you hear feet the back, and you're watching that, we take them down and hopefully catch them on their side, turn them to their back.
I'm going to read a quick ad here before this next one starts. CW Garage Doors, your go-to source for the wholesale distribution of high-quality residential and commercial garage doors and their related parts and options. For over 15 years, we've provided exceptional customer service through our personal hands-on approach. Our flexible schedule ensures we'll work with you to provide a quick turnaround and prompt delivery. For more information on CW Garage Door Distribution, please contact us at 877-684-5125.
All right. It's nice to see. I don't see all of the Ellsworth faithful out there, but still early. They're still working themselves into shape. Spring Valley's got some fans over there.
How many of these Ellsworth wrestlers were on the football team?
So the first tournament they had, it'd be 2 weeks ago this weekend. They only had about 12 kids, and they had their own tournament. And I think, Ellsworth only wrestled the 160. So because the rest of the kids, A, they gave them a week off. B, that you need 8 or 10 practice days in. I forget the rule before you can go out. So this is the first time a lot of them have wrestled. And they had quite a few, half the team. And then they did lose their 220 and their heavyweight. They're both very good. Placed at sectionals, and the other one went to state. One tore his ACL.
Oof.
And the other one, I heard there were some injuries. But I saw a body fat test. And when I say body fat, it's not insulting. It's you have to take a pinch test, so they decide minimum weight. So while I talk through that, Austin Schmidt pinned O'Neill the first period to bump Baldwin up 24-3.
See, now Austin doesn't. I mean, he's got a long.
Yes.
He's a long body, not what you typically see from a wrestler.
Yes, he's yes, and he's a kid. Believe it or not, you look at him. He fat tested for 138.
Huh.
You wouldn't think that. He's a mismatch in the wrestling room to anybody that's got to wrestle him. Works hard. He's got a good gas tank. Cross country. Zach Ambrose.
There it is.
There, and I think he went to sectionals, or he was close to it. Now at 152, we have Mr. Hunter Gartman, who was part of one of the most controversial calls I've ever been involved with at regionals.
I was here for that.
And we would have won the regional title over Amory if he would have gotten that call to go our way.
So they DQ'd him like at the very end, right? Wasn't that the...
Well, yeah, they gave him a penalty point, and he ended up losing in the ultimate overtime.
Yeah.
And, he didn't go on, but he did get fourth the year before. So so he's wrestling Eli Roll, who's part of the Roll family. I believe, I think his dad was a youth coach, Ed, for years. If I have that wrong, Ellsworth people, I really am sorry. But
Dave, I'm going to let you fly solo for a little bit. I got a girl here that needs to get home to eat.
Oh, okay. Well, has she been good?
Well, she just practiced, so it doesn't matter if she's been good or not, but we need to replenish those calories. So I will be back here shortly.
All right, Mason Mitchell is wrestling an Avery Hendall Hubo from Spring Valley, and Hubo got the pin. Now on mat 2 we'll have up Houston Huntress and Aiden O'Meara out there. Out here in match 2, Hunter got a takedown, or mat 1 got a nice takedown, had a nice 2-on-1 tilt, 4-3. Eli's he's a wily veteran. He's a kid that's not afraid to give up points and score points. He's had some high-scoring matches over the years. He's not afraid to come out and wrestle. So Houston Huntress, Jeremy's not here anymore, but I'll give a little plug. His mom's a hair salon right downtown Baldwin, kind of right by Wicker Financial, I believe, is where she's at. Miss Megan McCracken. This is her son, Houston Huntress. If I screw up the names, call him Hunter Houston. Go with me on that, please. Hunter was a new wrestler last year, really powerful, athletic young man, and just works, and still a little raw, but boy, he had a nice weekend last weekend. I think he went 3-1 on the JV. Very happy with his performance, but he's getting better every day and he works hard. So in mat 1, we have a little blood time, and from Mr. Eli Roll. Looks like they got it. Now they just got clean up for all you people with blood time. So your bloody nose, cut, whatever it is, you have 5 minutes and to get the bleeding stopped. Once you get the bleeding stopped, you have unlimited time to clean it up. And I've been a part of a few matches this year that, the wrestling matches are 6 minutes, and I think one took 17 minutes. So, because there's a lot of bleeding going on and a lot of cleanup. So it's just part of wrestling is, blood time. I don't know what it is in other sports. Now Hunter has got a bloody nose. So we're kind of hoping our wrestling room's a little dry. A lot of bloody noses in there due to, I think, dryness. We need a little humidity, and then I'll kind of clear it up. Yep, they've already stopped the blood time. No, it's still going. Yeah, when Jeremy gets back, we'll have to put the cameras on the boards, because these are really interesting. It tells everything that's going on, so that's a really nice feature. So in mat number 2, Spring Valley is riding Houston Huntress. And it looks like he's trying to use his legs and come across for a crossface, get some back points. But Houston is slowly coming out the back door, which he's sitting in proper position. He's still got 1:19. And if he can sit back, get his butt more on his heels, stay strong in there, and then it starts swimming up to the head, and maybe hook a head or an arm and pull him over top. That's the goal in this position. Because when you ride the hips, your hips want to be near his, unless you get both of them in and you stretch them out like he is right now. All right, we're back at her. At 2, Mr. Gartman's got a 5-0 lead. Minute left in the second period. And more blood time. All right, Mr. Gartman is going down. There, up and away, escape, making it 6-0. Mr. Gartman, another guy named Hunter, so if I start referring to him by his last name, just because when you yell Hunter in the room, you have 3 of them, it's kind of difficult. All of them ask what. There's a nice takedown. He's in a great position. He's got the legs split. And that's a really, when you're on top, you like that offensive position. When you split the legs, you can take them away from them. So, 8-0 lead. 24 seconds left in the second period. Caution on Hunter Gartman. If you're watching, his hand came over the elbow. It wasn't stationary when the ref blew it, so they'll call you a caution. You get 2 of them, and on the 3rd caution, the other guy gets a point. Mr. Gartman, yes, you got 2 back points. You got 2 swipes out. He's up now 10-0 with Mr. Roll's choice, he took top. I kind of touched on it earlier. When you're down by a lot of points and you've been getting taken down, you got to try something different. And this didn't work. They're hoping maybe you could lock up a cradle. I'm sure that's what Ellsworth's known for. But Mr. Gartman got away. On mat 2 here, we've got a... Oh, I don't have it on my phone. We're kind of making matches as we go. On mat 2, just due to Eau Claire Regis pulled out. They had some sickness, and it's better to be safe than sorry at this point. Ellsworth's got a big tournament on Friday night, big dual tournament. And Baldwin is going to Spooner on Thursday night to meet Northwestern and Spooner, which is going to be a really fun duo. So Mr. Gartman in on a takedown, and he's riding quite well. I think he needs 2 more points to get a tech fall. I think that's what he's looking for right now. He just, Hunter dug out the arm, put in the arm bar. That's nothing new for Baldwin. And he's starting to work them over. Also, before we get too far along, one thing we're also proud, Baldwin's doing quite well. Last year we had Colton Hush, Cole Brosh, Ty Fink, Sam Crowley, and Max Ramberg were all academic All-State, and I believe Max was first-team All-State. And that we're really proud of that. Academics are a big part of any high school sports, and when we have a team that has 5 of them, and Sam was the academic athlete of the year for Baldwin for the conference. Sadly, he graduated. Great young man. We wish him the best. But we still got 4 of those kids, and hopefully we'll get a couple more on it this year. So that's really fun. It's a lot of fun to have that. And with that, I was kind of looking over to Ellsworth, gentlemen pinning at Spring Valley, and I missed how that one ended. If it was a tech fall, so for 5 team points. So we got. For it ended up just a major decision. Out here we have Andrew Thompson. He's a freshman, really talented young freshman. Works really hard, but he's going against a Veenendahl, and I believe it's Ivan Veenendahl. For anybody, for you people out there, Veenendahl is a huge Baldwin name. I don't know how they got down to Ellsworth, but that's how it is. Dusty also commented, maybe Jeremy, when he gets back, will take a picture of me, Dusty. So hopefully in the second one, we're going to get some of the seniors up here to talk a little bit for everybody to get to know him. Ooh, he sat the wrong way, got his head covered in reverse half Nelson, 2 takedown to a pin. So that makes the score 28-3, or 28-9, Baldwin over Ellsworth at this point. And we have 170s coming up. Ellsworth has really solid team in various spots. Much like any other team, they've got a few holes. But we're running right into, I think their strength this year is a little bit in the upper weights, along with that Mr. Penn and the lower. They've got some good young kids that just got to get their feet under them. A lot of them have only had 3 matches, where some of the Baldwin kids have had 10, 11, 12. So that's always very difficult. We have a Logan Gordon, junior from Baldwin, and Mr. Anthony Madsen from Ellsworth. Anthony, I know he placed at sectionals, I think 5th last year at 170. Solid kid, good baseball player. I would assume he's on the football team. I got a chance to see him play for the Ellsworth Hubbards, that's why I know that. But solid kid. Dad was a conference champ, Brian, back in my day. grandpa's good friends with my father-in-law. So good, solid kid. Wrestles tough. When I talk that with the Ellsworth guys, they they don't have a lot of flash, but boy, they're just tough. They're usually well trained. Their head coach, Mark Matzik, was a two-time state champ, I believe, three-time finalist. He became a Division III champion at Augsburg, and he's got the rare feat of he was a NCAA champion at Division III as a wrestler, and he led Augsburg as a coach, led them to a national champion. So that's kind of rare, being the coach and wrestler winning national championships. Of course, they have Rourke Langer, and I forget the young gentleman's name, the Matzik's name, that's helping out coaching. They have Rob Heller down there, the football coach, their state runner-up. I believe he's the head coach. And then they have the legendary Jack Radabaugh still on staff. Still loves every second of wrestling. I had a chance to talk to him earlier. Yeah, he's still in the room, and I give him a lot of credit being that age. I don't know if I'd still be in the room in my 70s, but give him credit. He's a legendary coach. He's built some great teams down here. He led some great teams. He's got a lot of awards. So Anthony got a takedown a little later here in the first period. We're looking for an escape with 20 seconds left, and Logan is in nice position to get that. Good hustle. He kept coming around, kept that leg, kept coming around, applied the pressure, and got him back to the mat. So there. It is Baldwin's choice. He defers. And Ellsworth takes the down position. If any of you guys that are listening and do have some questions about a few things, throw them here on the YouTube. I kind of enjoy reading them. That was a nice reversal by Anthony. He's on top with a 4-0 lead. Baldwin still up on Ellsworth, 28-9. We got 5 matches left after this. Means we've already wrestled 8. Baldwin's won 7 of them. My math. Ellsworth comes back with a pin in the first part of the second period to make the team score 28-15. So in here, Baldwin isn't pulling any tricks by any means. Here comes Mr. Louis Yankee, also on the football team. Might be the happiest wrestler you ever meet. Dad was a very accomplished wrestler, Ben. A little younger than me, but I remember him quite well. And we're sending out Mr. Kyle Marty, a senior. And while he's a senior, Kyle's had a few injuries over the years, but he's really starting to. We've never got a full year out of him due to he's had a few injuries. He likes to ride dirt bikes and things like that. But he's really starting. He got 6th last weekend, and in a good bracket. He gave the guy that wanted everything he wanted in the quarterfinals and was up for majority of the match, just couldn't hold that lead. So Kyle's really improved. And Louis, the one thing about Louis is, boy, he's got a motor. He doesn't quit. He's a fun wrestler to watch. So I better keep my eye on this because Louis is not afraid to do anything. Because he had a turn last year and we couldn't have tournaments. He was in a quad and he ended up pinning 2 kids that were very, very good wrestlers. That I was just shocked. I think people look at him, he's a little shorter, thick kid. And when you get into these weights, you run into a lot of guys that are 6'2", 6'3". They kind of see a shorter guy and they get pretty excited, but not Louis. He doesn't care. He's not afraid to wrestle anybody. So right now he's got him in a near side cradle. The heads, we call it the hole. It's in the ribs. Trying to get that grip a little bit tighter. And it's not fun. I mean, luckily for us and for Kyle, we were at the edge of the mat, and the pressure took him off. So that was a pinning combination, but no points. Caution on red. He wasn't quite set. So Kyle's trying to come up, and Louis is kind of, he's got the leg. It's kind of tough to lift a guy. You got to get your hips underneath you to lift him up. But nice little front headlock, bounced his head off the mat and got behind him. So kind of lean, bounce, and hop in the front headlock. Nice, Kyle. Nice up and out of there for an escape, but quick takedown from Mr. Louis Yankee. Short time left in the period. Ideally, I'm hoping Kyle builds his base and is able to stand up and get a quick point at the end of the period. And in this move, he's got to just keep facing him. And the period is going to end 4-1 in favor of Mr. Louis Yankee. So here's another question: what Ellsworth's going to do? It'd be fun to get the coaches up here and hear their strategy. You know, I know what we talked about. We had two different strategy points. One was we got it. That was our first one with the coin flip, that we were able to move Ty Fink up to 138 and chase their guy and pick up a pin. So that was really nice. And then our backup 32-pounder we plugged in also got a win. So that's a big point swing in our favor, where maybe if we'd gone the other way, we had the hope it could have ended up being we could have got a pin at 32, they get a pin at 38. We're not sure, it never happened, but we got the matchup that we felt was going to be good. The other one was at 195, knowing Ellsworth, they, due to football, a great football season, don't have a lot of kids still healthy from the football season back, so they're missing a few upper weights, and we've got our, we got some kids on the team we think that are really good, and Max Ramberg is one of them, and he's up next, but we got to send him out, and I'm thinking Ellsworth will forfeit to him, and they want to pull the same strategy. So Louis had a takedown. Kyle got away, or 6-2 now, and 20 seconds left. Louis picked up another takedown, but they might take their chances wrestling our 220-pounder versus wrestling Max. So that could be the situation. All right, the end of the second period, the score is 8-2. Louis Yankee over Mr. Kyle Marty. And hopefully next match it'll be Ellsworth and Spring Valley. And for the people that are listening from both those towns, we will try to do our best to call it, but we also want to get our seniors up here. We only have 2 home meets this year. We want to get some of the seniors up here. So if you guys that are on there got any questions that you'd like to ask any of the seniors, throw them out there. We've got Max, Hunter Bonte, Kyle Marty, Dylan Hansen, the big Dill, and unfortunately Jaden Joa is not here tonight. So he's our other senior. Fun kid. Pigs Pleasant View is his grandma. Ooh, this is a really tight, very similar to our 160-pound match. And that's not a good spot to be in with your head covered and an underhook in. So pin for Mr. Louis Yankee. So here at 195, we're checking in Max Ramberg. That brought the score 28 to 21. We're checking in Mr. Max Ramberg, and they are forfeiting to him. And Max is not a happy camper. He's hoping for a match. And for everybody at home, what they're looking at is they don't have a 220 pounder. And so they'd had the forfeit for a 220 pounder. So per se, if they put the gentleman that's coming out, Ryan Matzik, up against Max, Max beats him, and then we get a forfeit at 220, instead of going whatever this match ends up to be, it'd be like 9 to 12 points in our favor, and Ellsworth wouldn't have got any if Max would have won. So in years past, Max has beaten him. Could he have done it tonight? I'd like to think he could, but I guess we'll never know. But here comes their 95 pounders coming out to wrestle Big Dylan Hansen. His name's Ryan Matzik. Was a very good tight end also. And with all that said, Ryan is one of their better wrestlers on the team. Very solid kid. A lot of fun to watch because he's technically really sound. He's a pretty good tight end for Ellsworth on their state runner-up team. It also looks like he's got some blonde hair, and I think people do that a lot. Tall kid. I wish Jeremy was here because I think he won all-conference, or he got an all-conference award for tight end or D-end. So, Big Dylan. I've been coaching him since kindergarten. He's been out for wrestling. Big, solid kid that works hard in the room. Sometimes he doesn't get the results. Did get 7th last weekend. Pinned his last kid for 7th place at Eau Claire. Solid kid. Ryan was also a sectional place winner last year. Not quite sure what spot. I want to say 4th or 5th. But he's definitely a threat to go to state this year. He's very good. I would assume that he might be down to 182. So that would make the score 34-27. We're down to 2 matches left. Big Mason Baraboo. Big boy, and they've got another big boy here that's going to come rumbling and stumbling up, as Chris Berman would say. And for the people that are wondering, there's no hair rules anymore. You can wear whatever you want for hair. So on mat 2, I'm sorry I lost track, there's a Spring Valley lad and a Baldwin lad out there. And I just offhand can't tell you who it is. Mason with a quick. Ellsworth was pushing in. Oh, there. He's got the hand over the face. And we still got 1:30. This is a long time. Don't push too hard, Mason. Don't get too hard over the head. Oh, okay. Now it becomes with the big guys, the gas tank. It takes a lot to fight off your back, people, if you've ever been in that spot. Mason with a power half, and he's turning them again. Mason came in the room late this year with an attitude, and we see it. So that brings the score 40-27. And it was Drew Stark on mat number 2. I believe he got the pin. I'm not quite sure. But that's a nice win. There's one more match left. It'll be at 106. And brings out Drake Gartman and I believe Landon Lampin. Yep, Landon Lampin. He's a sophomore, solid kid. I think he was in the lineup quite a bit last year. I'm not sure at the end of the year they had some moving around. If he stayed in, pretty solid. Drake's one of 2 freshmen. Taden Holder, we didn't see him tonight due to our moving around, are the 2 freshmen in the lineup. We do have a good slug of freshmen out. They all like to work hard. I wish we'd gotten them all out from 8th grade. But Drake is a real talented freshman. He just, like any other sport, he fat tested for 106, but it just took him. He didn't see the mat till last weekend. Finished 5th or 6th at Eau Claire. I'm sorry I didn't write all these down. Really solid. First weekend of wrestling. So this is his 5th match this year, where they said some of the kids got 9, 10 in already, or 12. But as time goes on, kind of excited. He's got a good talent level against Ellsworth. Very good opponent here. To be honest, Cenas, I'm going to give something a try. Oh, Drake Gartman in on a single, switch to a double. Really nice. Looked to be some injury time here. So, since we got a little time, I'm going to try something that we can go to one screen. Oh, no. We've got another Baldwin kid out there. I think the Glooper's out there against Lindsay Stark from Spring Valley for a little bit of a match. So I'm not quite sure what happened, if it was when he got taken down, if he jarred something in his back or neck. Not quite sure what they're looking at. And looking at this, I'd like to tell you, it's Western Wisconsin. He's a brand new gentleman, really nice guy that's helping out. We also have a female. I've only talked to him briefly. I have never met the female trainer, but I do know of this new male trainer. He's pretty up to date. Played some college football at Division II school. So nice to see. We lost Brandon, who was here for many, many years, but they replaced him with a guy who seemed very, very competent. So while I'm here, and bear with me, because Jeremy usually reads all this stuff, and it is Jeremy's station, so I'll just give a heads up to the St. Croix garage doors. I've had them over to do some work on my house, my garage door, and I probably have to need them to replace one too. But good, you need some garage doors, feel free to call them. I did mention Albright's and excavating to meet your excavating needs. And I didn't hear him, Darren Ofsty, and Precision Excavating and Precision Mechanics, I believe, or a trucking service. He runs a operation in the north side of town. I know he's been in the construction business for years. Really kind of specializing, I think, in Morgan trucking. But I've worked with Darren on and off, I think, for 9 years, about 20 years ago. So he knows his way around. Other than that, I'm not quite sure of all the other ones I should announce. The credit union, good place to bank, very supportive of any programs. They're very supportive. And they're also, the nice thing about the bank is the president of the bank is also a coach in the system, and big supporters. Well, the injury for Mr. Lampin, I'm not sure quite what it was. I hope that he's all right, but he is not going to continue, so that is 6 points for us. So that brings the final score 46-27, Baldwin Woodville over the Ellsworth Panthers. So there we go. It's a wrap. Never want to see a match end in a medical forfeit. You never want to see anybody get hurt and not continue. But it's part of the sport. It's a rough sport. The young man had some wrapping on his head, so maybe he had a cut. And also with injury time, I think it's a minute 30. And if you can't continue after a minute 30, it becomes you either have to get up or you're done. Now you have after the second injury time, if you were able to continue after a minute 30, it's you get that every time. It's not like you can wait or take one injury time and bank it. It's always a minute 30. And I believe after the second one, the opponent wrestler gets the choice of position he wants to start in. So here at Mat 2, we had Miss Stark. Went out there and got a pin over Hunter Gloop over there. And I think that concludes their JV and matches. And I know there's going to be more. We had some kids that didn't get a match in just because we had to play some games. But, or I shouldn't say play games. We might have used a kid or two here and there. So we wanted to keep them all over here just to make sure. But seeing as we used Garrett Guthrie and I don't think we used anybody else, we will try to get them some JV matches. Now going back to earlier, we have 14 events. That means if you weigh a kid in, it counts as an event. So that's why we try to get him a match. Mr. Scott Aho, I'm trying to make that, but when we go split screen, we do miss a little of both screens. I apologize for that. We try to make it as big as possible so we can get them both on, but that's just something. That's just the downfall. And I'm just going to try something. No, that doesn't work. Yep. Okay, I'm not seeing a change on the screen though. top one shows 2.
Okay, so there's a button like in the middle. It's in the screen on the left, where like you can change the layout.
Okay, it shows 2 boxes, then it shows T, then it shows double T.
Yep. Just click the single one. Wait, I'm trying to think here.
Okay, I'm at one screen on the computer, but now it's got some goopy stuff on.
Click preview program.
Oh, there it is.
Got it?
Yep, got it. So it'd be.
And the food will be done here in 5 minutes, and then I'll be on my way back.
Take your time. It's just Spring Valley and Ellsworth now. It'll kind of go quick, and then
Okay. You have your seniors going out?
yeah, eventually. I see Max working his way around, so
Okay, there is the third headset.
Okay.
So you can have, if you want to put 2 guys on at the same time. The third one's a little quieter though.
The third
So
one, you were using that one.
Dial that one up a little bit more.
Okay.
On the board.
Okay, we will do that. The second one was sitting on the table, right?
So the second one was hanging on the. Second one was hanging on the. I hung it on the camera.
Okay, sounds good. All right, thanks, Jeremy. Yep.
I'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah, bye.
All right, cool, thanks. Bye.
was on the phone with Jeremy, and I apologize. We got some writing on here now, but we got one screen. That's apologize to everybody that's watching that I have that. I'm going to still try to work on it to get it off of there, but I'm not sure how I do that. So now they're starting to announce the lineups for both teams, for Ellsworth and Spring Valley Elmwood. That I'm trying. I apologize. Jeremy said he'd be back in a little bit, and he can probably eliminate that. But in the meantime, we're going to try to get a few of the kids up here to talk. And you get to know them. So if you guys are listening, apologize. You have the text here on the screen. For the life of me, I can't figure out how to get it off, and knowing my luck, I shut her down. So this is better than nothing. Maybe one of these kids, if they come up here, know a little bit more than I do. So all right. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. I don't know what quite happened there. Somebody bleeped off, but here we at. It's probably me dorking around up here. And there we go. So the match starting at 120. We have Levi Nelson and LaCroix. Let me just see Tyler LaCroix from Spring Valley Elmwood. And for the Spring Valley people, bear with me. I know some of your guys, but I don't know some of the other ones. So I will do my best to get any information I can out. So Mr. LaCroix is in on a single leg. Looked like kind of a knee pull into the single leg. He's got it elevated, but Ellsworth has got that whizzer in, and they are solid. Oh, he switches it off. Gets behind and goes for a mat return. 2 points for Spring Valley. Up 2-0. Drives him out of bounds with the ankle. Still early. A lot of things can happen right now. I do know that Mr. Levi Nelson's dad was a wrestler in his day for Ellsworth. His mom's family comes from Richmond. Big wrestling family. I know one of his relatives ref for years. So there's a lot of wrestling in their blood, and I'm sure out there somewhere is that grandpa is probably watching. I can't quite make them all out. I think it's him that's sitting out there by his mom, but he's been a wrestling fan since I've been a little guy. So we're there that way. But right now, Mr. LaCroix is riding pretty hard on top here. He's got the forearm in the back of the head, keeping him down. And he popped up, switched off to an ankle, bumped him forward, out of bounds. There we go, at end of the period. 2-0, LaCroix over Nelson. It is LaCroix's choice, Spring Valley. He chooses to take down. You have 4 choices. Neutral, top, bottom, or you can defer in the second. Which a lot of people defer, but I do like that when somebody comes straight out and says, hey, I'm taking down, I'm going to score points. I kind of like that at times, but then there's other times you want that choice in the third period. So you can it's kind of like kicking off in the second half, or whether you want to kick off to start the game or have that option in the second half in football. Somebody like that control in the third period. My thought is go out and get your points and end the match as quick as you can. So right now he's on his feet. He did not award. Oh, he did. He did. I didn't think he awarded an escape, but he didn't. It was 3-0. Mr. LaCroix over Levi Nelson. And once again, I apologize. Jeremy will be back here to correct that. So for Baldwin's next match. Fighting for inside position. They're hand fighting right now. You see them grabbing onto elbows and wrists and all that stuff. Under a minute left in the second period. They went out of bounds, back starting in the middle again. At some point, if they continue to go out of bounds, I'm sure the ref Brandvold, will be looking to talk to them. But Ellsworth took a shot. Spring Valley's defending it. He needs to step around, cover the leg, and get his right arm underneath Levi Nelson's right arm, and he will score 2 points. But the longer that Mr. Nelson, he's all the way around the backside. Okay. So with his other foot and leg in the backside, if you can see that in the camera, because the text here is on. Even though he still had a hold of the leg, the other leg got behind him fully, and his hand was back there. Oh, it's a big half Nelson. That's a powerful half Nelson. Ran out of time. Good for Mr. Nelson, and I'm sure Mr. LaCroix wanted to get some points on that. Started the third period. Lost a little track here, the score here. I was trying to fix this screen here. But Mr. Nelson's choice. Started neutral, must have awarded some points at the end of the period. Oh, 2 for the takedown, yes. Escape takedown. Third period starts 5-0. Spring Valley over Ellsworth. A little over a minute left. They're fighting for inside position here. Now they're both on their feet back to the center of the mat. There, 2 takedown, Mr. LaCroix. Right on the edge of the mat. I think he's going to look to pull him in. He's got the leg trap. He's going to kind of pull him in. Doesn't want to restart. He feels he's got his leg trapped, and he's going to do a little out of there. Ref Brandvold out of bounds, starting over at the middle. There's a stall warning in there at some point. I'm looking at these new screens, and I'm hoping by the end of the meet tonight that we can get a camera on them. They're really unique, and I'm sure they're working out some glitches because I'm trying to follow along up there. And sorry if I'm gazing off. Oh, nice escape from Ellsworth. He's both on their feet, under 20 seconds. So as this goes on, maybe we'll get another match here. Little hats off to both of these programs. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit. I mean, this day and age, everybody kind of forgets. All right, the match ends 7-1. Mr. LaCroix over Mr. Nelson. So good match that Mr. Nelson starting his wrestling career. He got 5th at the Ellsworth Invite. I saw that. Won a few matches down there. I think he's hovering around that 500 mark, but starting his career off, we're hoping it's a good one. You know, he can win all he wants, just not against Baldwin is how we look at it. So, oh, now we got problems. Mr. Green Monacan looks like he's wandering over to the other mat, possibly to get a match. I'm not sure, and I don't know how to go back to the double if that happens. I'll probably get text here on everything. So, but at 126 we got Mr. William Penn and Clayton Neisinger. Tristan Clayton was his brother. Tristan is a senior. He's been around. It's a good wrestling family. Solid kid. I don't think he's made an appearance at state to this point, but I just know he's a tough out. And Mr. William Penn is one tough cookie for a sophomore. He's a name. Definitely, if you're kind of new to the wrestling or don't quite know anybody from Ellsworth or don't quite know the new names. He's gonna be a good one. I expect to see him put some state awards up in that wrestling room, the historic wrestling room of Ellsworth. For the past 50, I think 57 was their first year, so we got over 60 years, but they've been one good team. So Mr. Penn's up 2-0, and he's riding tough. So, well, we got our first senior up here, but he's eating, so he'll join in when he's done. But going back to Ellsworth, I don't. Luxembourg Casco's been very good in Division II. Fenimore, recently Coleman. Last 20 years since 2000s hit, it's hard to pick out a better team in the state. I know Wisconsin Rapids had a nice run, not so much in the last 10 years, but Ellsworth manages to pick up, I believe, state title in the 80s, 1985. I remember competing against them. Late 90s, maybe. I'd need to let legendary Jim Husholt to help me out on that, or his wife Diane probably could. But 2000, 2010, it's either they won it or they got second. It was just wow. But Spring Valley's not far removed. They've got some good history with them, and of course the ref out there, Dave Brandvold's one of the proud Spring Valley graduates. Went on to be a national champ at River Falls. but I believe that they placed quite high at state when he was on the team, and a few other names. I know Spring Valley made a nice run early 2000s, and then it was in the 2010s. I believe 5 years ago they were in the state finals, got second. So here we go. We do have a match going on in Mat 2. We got a Baldwin lad and a Ellsworth lad. I just don't know how to switch everything over. And while we're at it, I'm going to just spill. We got Max Ramberg up here, and the first question I'm going to ask, you know how to get this text here off? No, I can't. No, I can't. Follow that cord. Maybe got unplugged. Boom, boom, boom.
How about now?
No, I still can't hear you. Try the other one. Maybe we turn something off here. Okay, where are they all plugged into? Oh. All right. Try it again.
This one?
Yeah. All right. We got to turn it up. My bad. I turned it down. All right. Up in the booth right now, we have senior captain Max Ramberg, and he's working on helping us out to get this text here off of there. We're kind of I wouldn't call him blind leading the deaf. I'd call myself blind and deaf when it comes to the technology. So, Mr. Penn, another takedown, up 5-0, going into the third period. Like I said, William Penn, really solid. And so is Neisinger. Tristan is a very accomplished wrestler. Just hasn't broke that door down to really become a household name in the wrestling community. But he chose down. William Penn said, nope, I want you both on your feet. We're going to go takedowns. That's where he's feeling comfortable. He wants to get some points, help the team out. I'm sure the coach said, hey, let's get some more bonus points because we there's some matchups I don't like later on. So once, sometimes you have your opponent in control, the coaches kind of want you to go for some extra points to help the team score. All right, so Max, you're up here. I appreciate you helping me. And what do you got, Max? You're a senior, you're a captain. Going into that match against Ellsworth, what was going on? Did you know it was going to be a dogfight, or were you surprised it was that close?
I don't really worry about that stuff, to be honest. I leave that up to the coaches. We got some good coaches. Jared Fink, Jeff Newton, Cole, and Owen Newton. So I just leave the wrestling to the wrestlers and the coaching to the coaches.
Okay, well, just being in the room with some of the guys, did the match kind of go as you expected, though, knowing you obviously know a lot of these guys wrestling. You've either wrestled some of them in the past, or they've wrestled a teammate of yours in the past, or you know they're good. Did you feel that there was any real surprises during that match?
I don't think there was any surprises, but I heard you talking earlier about how tough Ellsworth has been, and a lot of their kids are just that they're tough. For example, Cole Brosh at 120, he beat him like 7-2, but it was a hard match fought by Ellsworth, and that's just what you're going to get every time Ellsworth goes out on the mat. I like to think Baldwin's getting there too.
All right, good deal. I was also, I noticed, and that was a scenario we all sat in the coach's room, and I did ask you after weigh-ins, because our one scenario was making sure we moved Ty Fink around. In the closing minutes, Mr. Penn picks up a 7-1 win over Tristan Neisinger from Spring Valley. That brings that ties it up, 3-3. So, but uh, I'd asked you earlier because we kind of thought that they would move around you and forfeit to you. Um, so, so we thought, hey, maybe we got an idea if we can win the coin flip, and maybe they got to send out and we chase you up to 220. But we'd like the tie Fink match up a lot better down low since it started at 113. Get those points on the board, and it worked out really well for us. And then when you came up there, you looked pretty upset that they didn't want to send a guy out.
Yeah, it's always frustrating when you don't get a match. Um, you work hard, you train hard, you're riding your training waves and your cycles, and it's just frustrating when you don't get to compete. But I'm thankful that a lot of the other guys got to compete. I mean, they went, had good matches. We wrestled well. We beat Ellsworth, which is always a big goal. I mean, they're a good team to beat. So all in all, it worked out pretty good, and I'm happy for that.
Really solid, really solid. Um, Ellsworth got a Spring Valley got a forfeit. They're up 9-3. They forfeited to Mr. Caleb Casey. Well, earlier we were talking about the gentleman that just took a forfeit. We were talking earlier about different forms of wrestling. He's a very accomplished Greco. I know you've been on some teams with him, going out to North Dakota. Just a good Greco kid, really well at that. Just kind of matches up. So I'm thinking, because Ellsworth doesn't have a 38-pounder, they sent out their
32.
Well, he's their 32-pounder. They sent them up there. They figured, well, we'll give up 6 to get 6. Omer is a young gentleman from Spring Valley, and he's a 10th grader. He said he's still green. Coach Gable said that he's a super good hard worker. Glad to have him out. Just maybe Pollinger's a little too much for him this early. So while we squeeze that in, I did talk about all the kids on the team that were academic all-state last year, Max. You were one of them. We talked about, I talked about Miss Sam Crowley in the room. He was the middle border athlete, or scholar athlete of the year for Baldwin. What is your plans after high school?
I want to study biology, and with possible minors in psychology and special education. Those are all things I'm really passionate about. Always been kind of a science guy, being bio and psych. Love those things. The ultimate plan is to be a physician's assistant, so that's 2 to 3 years of post-college education, and sometimes you got to take a gap year, but hope to get it done as fast as possible.
All right, and where are you planning on doing all this?
I'm going to go to Augustana University in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They are a university of about 2,000, a little less actually, and I really like it there. Our head football coach, Dan Kiefer, actually played football there.
And so did his wife, to be add. And are you planning on continuing to wrestling?
Yeah, that's the plan. I plan to wrestle. 197 pounds is the plan, and just looking forward to it. Looking forward to competing.
Well, good. That's awesome. The Sioux Falls, nice town. Augustana. I don't know how Jeremy feels about all this, but Jeremy's going to see Max's mother wearing a lot of Viking apparel now.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think that the Viking is a lot more cooler than the Minnesota Viking. Not mean to defend anybody. And so, hey Jeremy,
Yeah.
I gotta interrupt. Graydon Monikin's wrestling, and Denise is saying she never thought she would miss Jeremy to fix the cameras. So I apologize, but Graydon is out there. I'm not sure who he's wrestling. He's up 5-0. He's putting a hammer to some Ellsworth kid. Graydon's a fun little freshman. He's got a lot of talent. If anybody knows the Monikin family, mom's a school board member. Got you, Denise. But Dad was one heck of a basketball player.
Absolutely.
He was also big deal. All right, Max. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
I appreciate it. Dad was a heck of a basketball player, football player, but he was also a good wrestler in middle school. So
Yeah, we got him on the right side of the winter sports, I think. See, the thing with Tim is he had that Austin Schmidt build. He was too long to. I mean, he was I think he was taller than Austin, so it would have been a lot of legs to grab as a wrestler.
well, when you're that good of an athlete. Oh, Mr. O'Neill picked up a pin in the first over a Spring Valley opponent. We were concentrating, Spring Valley and Ellsworth were the Baldwin kids, but yeah, I got to coach. Tim's a good coach. He coached wrestling with me, and boy, the kids liked him. He knows his stuff too in wrestling, so I'm guessing if he decided to throw on the old singlet, he would have been just fine in high school.
Yeah, probably. But I'm glad he didn't. And I'm even giving Denise the special handheld camera close-up view of Graydon here.
Yeah, Graydon's up 8-0. My whole question is, why hasn't he pinned them yet? I just don't know.
Cat and mouse.
Ellsworth kids, I don't care where they are, they're just tough.
He just wants to get his practice in.
So on mat number 1, Spring Valley sent out Cole Steinmeier to battle Eli Roll. I shouldn't say battle, wrestle. With the Panthers up 15-9. And Mr. Steinmeier with a quick takedown, riding hard. Very aggressive style. So, but it looked like when Matt returned him, got his arm caught underneath him. And that's not good, so we got to stop the match. No, we can, for the Monacan family, Green's on top, and guess what he's got? He's got an arm bar on. He's looking to drive him over. He did, up 8-0 with 40 seconds left in the period. He's got it pretty tight. What he needs to do in that spot is take his right leg, get it on the other side of the head, so he's got both of them. Nope. He's got to get both legs on that side of the head and sit out. And get his head up. Now he's going to switch to a different pinning combination. Now the old butcher. That, well, it wasn't quite the butcher. It was, sometimes wrestling's all about just throwing a kid over. And that's kind of what Graydon did at that point. He's up 11-0.
That Ellsworth kid doesn't want. He didn't want any
Got a
part of
pin with 2 seconds left in the period. Nice job.
He heard you say, "Why doesn't he just pin him?" And he's like, "Fine."
You would think it's that easy, but he's a tough kid. You know, Ellsworth kids are very well schooled and fighting off their back. So this match, it looks like it's a knee injury, a medical forfeited, much like how the Baldwin-Ellsworth match ended. And Eli Roll gets 6 points for his team. It's just it's unfortunate that it turned into a 6-point match, but Steinmeier had the lead there, so I was hoping that'd be a good match. You never want to see anybody get hurt. But that's the one odd thing with wrestling. You know, you get hurt while you're wrestling, and it is the other team gets 6 points for you getting hurt. Oh, jeez. I didn't even see this. We got a forfeit for Ellsworth gets a forfeit here, but we have another one of the mighty Blackhawks seniors coming up, Mr. Dylan Hansen, Big Dill, as he's called by a lot of guys in the room. We brought him up here. We brought him up here, and
Even closer to your mouth. It's almost like you're going to eat it.
yeah, there you go. With Big Dill, he loves to talk, so he was probably thinking that he was going to say so much, he had to keep that away from him. But we're going to start it off big. You know, I got to start it off with a compliment. Big Dylan started wrestling, I believe, kindergarten.
You got to talk. You see, you can't nod because people can't see
He
you.
nodded his head yes. He's a man of few words, but he carries a big stick. And he's been a pleasure to coach with, and just talk to. Believe it or not, Jeremy, Dylan's here's a big hunter. And was it last year you got yourself a nice big buck?
Yep.
Nice big buck, and sometimes as coaches you just get caught up in you got to win, you got to win, you got to do all this, but what makes kids that come into the wrestling room, and Dylan's been so special that way, he's big smile from ear to ear, got a big buck. He talked about this year, wasn't as lucky this year, or maybe the deer knew that Big Dill was out there, so they hid. So just some meat in the locker. But Dylan, tell us a little more. You kind of told me in the room what you plan on doing next year, and I think it's pretty cool. You want to tell everybody else out there what you're kind of going to do?
I'm planning to be a mechatronics technician.
And you working on robots, correct?
Yep.
I think that's kind of a cool thing. I bet you it's kind of fun. I had a family member that was into that, and he enjoyed it. It's a quite a interesting thing. So when you're talking working on the robots, is it A, at a fast food place, B, at a manufacturing? Is there different types of the steps to do, different kinds, or you haven't really got into that?
I don't know.
You want to make sure you have a job that allows you to get out and hunt and fish, right? That's awesome, Dylan.
I mean, what if you designed a robot to do the fishing for you?
Not good, huh, Dylan?
No.
No, I think he made him mad, Jeremy.
Why?
He's like, no, he uses his hands, right? Got to catch the fish that way, huh?
No.
I mean, you could still do that. You could just have like 3 hunting or 3 fishing buddies right there too, doing the same thing, like mirroring everything that you do. No?
No. So you're saying you don't like remote control vehicles, where you could just sit there and smash them up or jump things? You'd rather do? Okay, fully understand.
We should get a camera on Dylan. That way, people can get the response from you.
So I'm going to ask you, Dylan, what is your favorite? So you were a football player, played a lot of years of football. What is the funnest thing you've gotten on either wrestling or football, or any activities at school that is going to be something you're going to remember 20 years from now? Teammates?
Yeah, teammates.
Teammates. We've gone on some trips. We'll be going to Port Washington overnight. What do you think of that kind of stuff? Looking forward to that, just getting out and seeing some stuff. All right, that's awesome.
Will there be any singular football games or wrestling matches that you'll always remember?
Certain ones.
Certain ones, like, let me guess. Big Dill went out and he got a pin with 2 seconds left in the match last weekend.
Yeah.
You're pretty pumped about that one, weren't you? And we were all pumped about that. We had a bad result in one match, and I was at that match. I walked over, and Big Dill throws in a power half, works the kid right over, and gets the pin with 2 seconds left. I was proud of you. I was happy for you. It was a nice match. It helped our team points. Like I said, we were only a few points away from getting second. And Dylan, that was a pin that helped us get closer. So we really appreciate it. So you got anything more to say, or?
No.
No. All right, Big Dill. So we'll let you get out of here, but send another guy up here.
Thanks, Dylan.
Thanks a lot, Dylan.
All right, I'm gonna read this.
I tried to read some earlier.
No, that's fine.
I was really pathetic, but I threw in my, St. Croix garage doors worked on my door. I knew Darren Offstein.
All right, so Firehelm Langer is a CPA firm with offices in Baldwin, Ellsworth, River Falls, and Lake Elmo. At Firehelm Langer, our clients are our top priority. We offer the skills and expertise of a large CPA firm combined with the personal attention and responsiveness of a smaller firm. When you partner with us, we take the time to get to know you, understand your goals, and build a lasting professional relationship. We invite you to turn to us at Firehelm Langer for bookkeeping services, payroll services, financial projections, tax planning, tax preparation, and all of your accounting and tax needs. So where are we in this?
There's a big run of forfeits. And I'm glad we can say this. We have her name is Haley Casey, and her older brother wrestled 132, got a forfeit earlier. Haley is a girl wrestler. This is new this year in Wisconsin. There is a strictly all-girls state this year.
Okay.
So if you choose to be in that, you can, and that's at the end of January, you can't be on the team
Okay.
to help them for further competition. But as you see, Haley's she's a 106-pounder, she's nationally acclaimed female wrestler. She's very, very good. And you just saw she's in deep on a takedown, really solid. And they're kind of debating she might stick with the team here with a nice takedown to make it 3-2. She might stick around on the boys' team and opt out of the girls' state to help the team, but we won't know until it's that time. And also you see that their 82-pounder, that Lindsay Stark, ran into Louie. Louie worked her and pinned her. But she's another one that's, there was a girl from Phillips that won a match for sure at sectionals last year at 195. Very talented little wrestler.
So there's obviously there's 13 weight classes?
No, there's less
But
than
for
that.
boys, there's 13.
14. 14
14.
for boys.
So for girls, there's
8.
okay.
If I got that wrong, I apologize. Also, we got to throw out there, we have Mr. Adam Dodge on mat 2. And it appears to be 2-1 the Dodger. We call him the Dodger. His grandpa's Don McGee. For the people in Baldwin know that. Don was village president for many years at the fixing shop.
Bus driver.
Bus driver, yes. So a lot of these students have gotten to and from schools from Don McGee. And then wife Norma worked at the middle school or the elementary school. I'm not sure if she's still there.
Oh
or
yeah,
not.
she's still there.
She is, okay. It's been a while since I've graced the halls of the middle school, or the elementary, I should say. I was in the middle school today. Oh, the Dodger with the takedown, but he did give up. Oh, no. Dodger had a mat return, and he had his hands locked too long, so he is now down 3-1, 4-1. So, with that, put the mic a little closer to you. Put her really close. You know, Big Dill was all over the mic, so we had to bend her back. Well, we have Mr. Kyle Marty, our 182-pounder. We talked about earlier. He's up here now. I kind of let Kyle. Kyle moved in from the Twin Cities to Baldwin. And what grade was that?
That was 7th grade.
7th grade. All right. And he started wrestling in Baldwin, like I said earlier. And I've talked to Kyle about this, that he's had a hard time during his high school career due to injuries. COVID was a weird year. He hasn't had a full year, but this year he's starting to get more and more mat time. He's improving. It's a lot of fun watching in the room. So I guess from here on out, I'm gonna the season. What are you planning?
Well, I'm planning on having a good year, maybe making it to sectionals this year.
Okay, good. That's awesome. Also, we asked Big Dill that we couldn't get him off the mic, but you know, what are you planning after high school?
Well, actually, after high school, I'm planning on being a plumber. I'm gonna go to school for plumbing.
Okay, good. Aren't you doing some of that right now?
Yeah, I'm just helping out at a shop, Baldwin.
Okay, that's awesome. I mean, are you on a work study? Oh, Miss Haley Casey picks up the pin with 27 seconds left in the second period on a tie match. Picks up the pin. That's a nice little job. Sorry to interrupt. We still got to announce a little, but I know aren't you doing a little work study, and you're in and out of there, and
Yeah, I only come to school for a couple hours a day, and then I work up until wrestling practice, and then there's my day pretty much. I think I just go home.
All right. Well, hey, Kyle, I was going to ask. That sounds awesome. Where are you going to go to school at?
WITC in Richmond.
Okay. All right. So during the high school, what has been? Oh, we can get Bonte up here yet.
I think you just took off.
Okay. I know you got to go. It looks like they're going to start warming up, but I was going to ask, do you got anything you remember really well during your seasons of wrestling? Or what's your favorite thing? Is it your teammates? And I know in years past, this is your first solid year on varsity, and we're going to go to Port Washington. Maybe you haven't had a good moment. What's one thing you're going to really remember from high school?
My teammates. I've always had really good teammates in high school and middle school. They've always been supportive, and they push you hard.
All right, that's awesome. That's really cool. Well, Kyle, hey, thanks for stopping up. Kind of looks like the coaches are gathering up the kids for the last match.
All right.
So I don't want to get you in trouble here.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank
Thanks
you,
a lot.
Kyle.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, Kyle. Go get them. Stay low, tack the legs, finish.
It's funny. That's what you say to me when you just see me in the hall.
Well, you know, if you're in elementary school, some of them kids, you got to get their head down too. I just think of some of those kids that are there, and I'm like, wow. And sorry we couldn't get to Mr. Hunter Bonte. I'll give you a little highlight with him. He got third at sectionals last year, and the normal year he places. He's also the first guy up, so couldn't quite get him up there. But so in normal years, getting third, he would have gone to state. Just unfortunate that we couldn't take him to state last year. He's worked hard. He's been a 4-year ladder winner for Baldwin, so he'll get his little plaque at the end of the year.
Is he going to get a fat head in the gym in the wrestling?
Well, yeah. The beautiful thing about the fatheads is you have to make it to state.
Okay.
And we hope he does. Like I said, he's had the skill level. He had 2 brutal brackets as a freshman and sophomore, and he finished third at regionals, and they only take the top 2 to sectionals, and sectionals take the top 3 to state. And he's just been kind of, he's had some really good kids in there, and it just hasn't quite worked out. But we're hoping this year is the proverbial. He's going to kick the door down and surprise everybody.
So where is regionals this year? Because we hosted last year, right?
Yep.
That was regionals we hosted.
St. Croix Central is this year.
And there'll be the same amount of teams at regionals as there were last year? Okay.
Yes, there will be. And sectionals is in Amory. Put it on their home court, which, can't give them any advantage to anything.
Yeah, they've been, from my understanding, they've been wrestling a pretty crazy schedule too, right?
Yeah, Amory's, they're going to the Dvorak this weekend, which is a really solid tournament in Illinois. In Illinois they have private schools, and they're close to Indiana, and they draw on some big private schools. Really, it's a real tough tournament how it's designed. And then the Cheesehead is in Kakana, which is one of the top 8 tournaments in the nation for high school. They're going to that. They got invited with the team they have, and that's a tournament that they had 3 kids in the finals at the state, where they might not have any of them even in a third place match at the Cheesehead. The Cheesehead will bring out teams from California or Oklahoma, good teams out of Illinois again, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan. Might even get a Pennsylvania school to stop in. So that's a really good tournament. And before anybody asks why we don't go, we were on a list, and they didn't ask. So
Their loss.
It's kind of, we're finding out some of these big tournaments. We got invited to the Christmas tournament in Minnesota because we've got 5-6 kids that are really good. And then they also have it set up that some of your kids that aren't as skilled, they went 0-2, they get thrown in another bracket, so they get the rest of all the guys that went 0-2. So it's a 2-day tournament, both Cheesehead and the Christmas tournament, the Dvorak. So it's really interesting when you get into the 2-day tournaments during a season. We haven't done that yet. Port Washington will be almost like a 2-day because we're wrestling Friday. So we're leaving right away Friday morning, driving to Milwaukee. But the tournament will be done late Friday night. But we still got to stay over, and we'll come back Saturday.
Gotcha.
But we did that due to, we also have aspirations of getting to Team State. So we get a chance to see Luxembourg Casco, which is, I talked about it earlier, very good on that side of the state. Possibly a team out of Illinois, some teams out of that sectional 4, D1, D2 schools. So it's a lot of fun getting around the state. So when we get to the state tournament, they're doing a new thing. They're going to seed it. So and they're going to kind of, I think, let the coaches do it.
Okay.
So when they do that, at least then we can seed kids.
So has it always been a draw?
Yes,
before?
it's always been a draw. And for instance, last year, Blaine Guthrie, undoubtedly, I felt was the second best wrestler at 182. The match didn't happen. Blaine got upset in the first round, but the top kid was on the same side, so one of the 2 kids were not going to make the finals of the best 2 kids. Kid Blaine beat at sectionals was on the bottom side and got to the finals, and we knew Blaine had beat him a couple times handily.
Right.
And it was just unfortunate, but this year is supposed to be set up the top 2. They're going to try to seed the top 4. They're going to try to seed as many as they can that are seedable. But everything's new, and it goes on to 14 events and things like that. But
well, that makes it hard with, especially if you're traveling to big tournaments on one side of the state and facing kids from the biggest schools in Minnesota. If you're losing, the record's not necessarily going to be indicative of how good the wrestler is, right? You could have a school that just wrestles local schools and go undefeated versus a team that goes everywhere and a kid loses 3-4 times.
Yes, and that's a great point. I think of Ellsworth kids that have gone down the state with 6, 7, 8 losses in one state.
Right.
People are like, what? Well, they would wrestle a schedule that was incredible. So they're going to pick up these losses. But the nice thing about, a flow wrestling, track wrestling, you can track these guys. Max picked up a loss last weekend to a Fargo All-American. Everybody knows the kid's good. So when they get downstate, well, Max has got 1 loss per se. Our kid's undefeated. Well, the 1 loss was against a kid that's very, very good.
Right.
And Max had beaten them before. They've kind of gone back and forth. I show a picture of Max and him when they were in 7th grade wrestling in Atlanta. They've wrestled all over the country. This is the first time they ever wrestled in the Central Time Zone. So, and he's from Minnesota now. He was from Colorado,
and those guys were standing 2nd and 3rd on a podium where Braylon Allen was standing 1st back in the day. Then
no, this was a little different one. Max Max wrestled Braylon. He was kind of on a team with him in 8th grade. Braylon's supposed to be a senior in high school, and he's a young senior. I still have the discrepancy on his birthday, but whatever they say on TV, I'll go with. But
it's not just TV, Dave. It's everywhere.
Just hoping the tournament organizers don't realize it then.
Well, if he was born in January and he wrestled in a tournament 5 years ago, I don't think anybody's going back. And Braylon Allen, for those that don't listen, was a really good running back for the Badgers this year after he enrolled early as a freshman. And you told me about him up here last year. You said, you got to look out for this guy. He's going to be, he's a junior at wherever he was, Fond du Lac or...
Yep, Fond du Lac, and he bypassed. He took a English online class his senior year, got eligible. Bright kid, bypass. But yeah, this other tournament was in Atlanta. 4 years ago? I forget what it was, but I just laughed at you wrestle kids. And a lot of these kids get out and wrestle and do a lot of things with freestyle and Greco. All of a sudden, you run into a tournament and there they are. It's like, well, aren't you from Colorado? No, I just moved. You know, it's like, oh, okay. So out here, let this go. We have Mr. Hunter Bonte that we didn't get to interview. Maybe he'll come up. And he's wrestling Tristan Neisinger. Hunter's up 2-0 late in the first period. And Mr. Bonte's a big leg rider. Took a tough loss earlier to William Penn, and Tristan had a good match against William Penn, but I think Hunter's out here to prove that he's just as good as that Penn, and he can beat him next time. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I get talking once in a while. And don't worry, I'll announce Colton Hush when he gets up there. So, second period, Mr. Neisinger took down. Hunter got the legs in as quick as he can. And Hunter is going to ride those legs as hard as he possibly can. All right. I do have to give a little shout out to cheerleaders that are here. Lisa Bolera, Morgan McGee, Melissa Ryby, Adeline Vance, Eleanor Vance, and Ava Veen.
You might have got a name or two right there.
Okay, well, I do know one of them, and my wife told me that one of them was an All-American at a cheer camp this summer.
Wow.
So that's anytime you win an All-American honor.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's really impressive. I don't know. I have this running thing with Mr. Tim Klatt, and it's too long to explain, but I'm going to ask you, Jeremy, how many National All-Americans have you coached on your basketball team?
0.
0. All right. Hopefully, maybe Tim will get one this year.
Yeah. I mean, Morgan would be. She was real good last year, and probably didn't get the credit that she deserved in the end of the year honors. The first team pitcher was the girl from Catholic Memorial.
Yes, that is also going to the same school, from what I hear, is already at Winona.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, it's the part that's hard is that you don't get the publicity over in western Wisconsin that you do
yeah.
literally everywhere else, especially in softball. And I think, it's got to get to the point where when you send multiple teams to state most years as a conference, at some point people need to start picking that up. It's hard with the cities right next to you.
Yeah, no, very true. Well, a little recap here. Tristan did get away to score a point, but Mr. Bonte took him right back down and put the legs right back in. So, third period made Mr. Bonte's choice. He's up 4-1.
So what's your number at there, Dave? All-Americans.
Do I count each one individually?
How else would you count?
Well, we've one of them's got 4 UWW All-American awards.
But it's still the same person.
Yeah, it's the same person.
So that's one.
Yeah, that's one. But 4 of them.
So who are they?
Max went to the World Trials as U15 and U17 and double All-American in both of them.
Okay.
And he was alternate this year for the Pan Am Games.
Sweet.
And if he would have, he wrestled the kid in the placing matches that ended up going, that kid beat him. So that was fun. And what was really nice about it was supposed to be in Las Vegas. It is this year in Las Vegas. That they had moved it to Wisconsin Dells, so it wasn't. We drove down in the morning. Only had one night at the hotel, or 2 nights. So instead of saving me a lot of money going out to Vegas.
I mean, it's only a small step down. I mean, I've never been to Vegas. I've only seen it in pictures, but I've been to the Dells, so I can't imagine it's that much different, right?
I haven't been out to Vegas since the late '80s, so I'm looking forward to this year. We talked about it before the season started. No talk till after it's done. But it's during the week, so Max can once again, if he chooses, can go to prom. So start of the third, we got a minute left. Hunter took both on the feed. And
We have that scoreboard now visible.
oh, visible. So if everybody's seeing that, I'm spending a lot of time looking at it. It can be a lot of fun. But I'm sure there's a little work in progress for the people in the scoreboard to learn how to do it. So I see Mr. Hush is doing it. And I'm sure he'd figure it out in due time. But this is the first time I've seen it. And we only got one other duel this year at home. So we're going to try to make that a big event too. As the clock clicks down, Neisinger's in on the shot. Hunter's defending it very well. Hunter's in the better percentage spot right now. So called a stalemate. Nobody gets charged anything or warned. Now you got 10 seconds left, and like I said, Hunter is he knows how much time's left and what to do, how to eliminate any offense, how to tie things up. There we go, and that ends the match 4-1.
So when Spring Valley wrestled Ellsworth, did they have a full team? Did they get through all 14, or they forfeited some?
Yeah, they forfeited some. They did.
Okay, I'm gonna read this quick.
Yep.
Nielsen's Foods has been serving community since 1903. We offer full-service caribou, coffee, bakery, deli, and meat departments. We pride ourselves with our award-winning Nielsen's Market meats and our friendly staff. Nielsen's vision is to build a strong family of customers and employees by delivering superior service to our customers, offering employee growth opportunities, reinvesting in our stores, and serving in our communities.
All right. Hey, I also have to say they have the best grocery bags around. You go to any other store, them bags rip apart. Not Nielsen's. Boy, you can load up a lot of stuff in a bag there.
Nielsen's paper bags are actually the COVID delivery bags for the elementary school.
They are?
That's what we load all the stuff up in when we have to send them home.
Well, there
you're accurate in what you said.
Yeah, and their plastic bags are awesome. I mean, even single guys like Brody Peterson love those bags. We had a discussion about it one night at Strikers, trying to get some more promos for you.
I think you read the Strikers one already, right?
I gave a little plug for Peg's Pleasant View, seeing as Jaden's not here. But out here we have Caleb Casey from Spring Valley and Mr. Ty Fink from Baldwin Woodville. This is going to be a really good match. It's a contrast of styles. And what you guys just saw, it's actually a penalty point, but I doubt they're going to call it. When you get late in the year, you can't take your headgear off during a match and throw it to the side.
So what happened there?
So what happened is, if you wrestle freestyle Greco, you don't have to wear headgear, and if you do, your opponent can ask you to take it off, and you got no choice. But folk style is the only style. The only thing it does is protect your ears.
Right.
If you wear the chin guard, it also protects. It keeps your jaw locked in, so if you do hit your head, supposedly it's not open. It's supposed to minimize concussions. But a lot of people just don't use the chin guard.
Right.
So, I mean, and if you know any wrestlers, Mr. Fink, Caleb Casey, they all have this phenomenon called cauliflower ear.
Yep.
And I did my impromptu on the team. Ty's is pretty wicked, but Austin Schmidt has it in both ears, and he's got the cauliflower ear award in my book. I think Max's ears are really bad, except his ears are still in the same spot, so nobody notices it until you get really close. Then you realize the inside of your ear looks like a brake drum.
So
and you can't wear iPod, or you can't wear the earpods.
So does that ever go away?
No. Nope. And if a kid's wrestling, so Ivy League school, and I forget which one, you wrestle all 4 years, and it's been offered since the 50s from what I'm told. Now, maybe I'm a little inaccurate. They will pay to have your ears returned to normal.
Really?
And in the last 60 years, only 2 wrestlers have ever done it. So, it's a badge of honor.
Apparently.
And Jeremy, I know a police officer from Madison once told me, you see a guy with cauliflower ear, you call for backup. And he was not small. I met him at a powerlifting meet, and he was 300 and some pounds.
Wow.
And he said they said that's the worst. So with that, takedown, reversal in there. It's 2-0.
Nope, it's 4-3.
Oh, 4-3. 4-3. Okay, I'm sorry. I got them all mixed up.
It was 3-2, and then Casey just scored 2 points.
First period, Ty takedown, reversal, Ty got away. Now Ty's away, so it's 4-4 again. This Casey kid that's out here has been a Fargo All-American in Greco. His dad's very accomplished. Actually, he does train people on the side over the years. I don't think he does much anymore, just due to he's a coach. But Caleb is controlling the match into his style. He wants the underhooks and wants to lift them up in the air, and he wants to throw them. And if Ty wants to win this match, that's strictly Greco there. He's got to be in on the legs, and he's got to watch out for the chest lock throw. And Ty is really, really good on his feet, really explosive, real quick. Where Caleb's a little longer, and just Greco guys are just hard to get in on.
Anybody looking for a basketball update? The Blackhawks are in Amory tonight, and they're up 9 points with 4 minutes left in the first half.
You know, and I forget, I talked to Coach Benoit before he left, and I'm so used to 7 o'clock starts for duels, and I was like, what are you in here? You're supposed, and it was only 4:15. Nice takedown on Ty, kind of lowered his elevation, got behind. Up 6-4. I'm not sure what Spring Valley is going to send out here, but this is a big match. This is actually a match that we'll get on the forum tomorrow, and there'll be some people talking about it because they're both ranked at state. Caleb Casey's D3, Ty's D2. So it's kind of a talked about match. How's that going to go? I know it was one Ty talked about, and if Regis was here, they had a gentleman named Chase Koska that's very good. So Ty would have had a good full night, especially moving him up. And so the one downfall when you talk to wrestling purists, and I don't consider myself a purist, Jeremy, but some guys like Greco, like Caleb, he's not going to make Greco and freestyle. You don't do a lot of mat wrestling. You got about 15 seconds, and if you don't turn them and get points, you got to go both on your feet. So a lot of the guys just bypass going on the mat and just wrestle on their feet all the time, because that's when they train for that. You probably train 80% of your time on your feet. And I know enough about Caleb that he trains a lot of Greco when he's not doing the folk style season, and I think he prepares he's planning on making it kind of a career after high school.
So, I mean, if you would say that the purists don't like it because they want more mat wrestling.
Yes, they want you to be good in all positions.
Yeah, but if you're good enough to dictate the tempo or the style of wrestling, does it really matter?
Oh, and there you go. That's my argument toward the purists. If you're, and my big argument is if you, right now in the room, we're practicing 70% of the time on your feet. Sometimes just to get away from the bottom, you got to be in good shape. And some of the kids just aren't in prime shape yet. So you hate to put a kid down at a disadvantage. It'd be, if a kid that you know is going to be a good point guard, you don't start him right away at point guard. You kind of work him in with the right rotation.
Right.
So, I mean, guys like Ty Fink that do fall wrestling, things like that, those guys are in better shape. They're not scared to go down, but Ty's also not a freestyle or Greco guy.
Right.
So, the advantage is he's got to win all with just like that. He's got to get to the legs, and then when he gets onto the mat, he's got to get into the position to ride him and score. And that kind of limits Greco guys and sometimes freestyle guys.
So he's just trying to get out of bounds there?
Well, I wouldn't say that. Just they use up the whole mat. Sometimes, yeah, they try to get out. They call that fleeing the mat, but there's ways you can do it. So Ty Fink leads 8-4 with 20 seconds left in the third period. And it looks like there's blood time.
Which would be a great opportunity for me to tell you about A-Star Concrete Pumping. Proud to be family owned and operated in Wisconsin. We pride ourselves on maintaining a high-quality, unique fleet and very knowledgeable staff to complete all projects. From smaller residential projects to large-scale commercial enterprises, A-Star Concrete Pumping has the equipment, staff, and experience to handle all your concrete needs. Contact them at 715-246-3920.
All right. While we're looking at this blood time, when you go to tournaments, the coaches are in charge of it. And part of it's in the rule book. You have to wear the gloves.
Yep.
Everything. Everybody's different. We were just at a tournament to use wet wipes.
Okay.
But it's still. I laughed. There was a kid that had some blood on his arm. He wasn't bleeding. He got bled on. The other coach just licked his sleeve a little bit and rubbed it off. And the ref comes over and said, "You can't do that. You can't do that because it's in the rules. You can be penalized."
Absolutely. Well, you just shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't do that. So Ty Fink picks up a big win, 8-4. A big win for Ty Fink. Good match for Mr. Casey. And that puts Baldwin up. Oh, boy, there's a decision, and a pin in there. Nope, that's only our second match. This is our third match, Mr. Tate and Oldorf, so 6-0 Baldwin.
Even though we don't know what life has in store for our homes or cars, we can still prepare. Introducing the Damage Doesn't Have to Be Too Damaging policy from American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. For details, contact Agent Justin Nygaard. Call 715-684-2919 or stop by 775 Main Street in Baldwin today.
Oh, that makes sense. So before everything started, before I came up here, we need lineups. So all of them get typed in, so they just have to pick them out of there. Oh, okay, I get it. So our next meet, we'll make sure we get the lineup in early, so they're not typing it in as we start wrestling.
Yes, I'm sure it's just they just pull it from a drop down, right?
Yeah. So
is this Tatum's first match of the night?
Yep, this is Tatum's first match. He's a freshman. Tough little kid. I shouldn't say kid. Tough little high schooler. New. He's had an all right start to his high school career. I got 7th last weekend. I think he got 5th or 6th. He's wrestling O'Meara. And he quick takedown, got an armbar. He got a pin. He got his first home varsity win, which is kind of a big deal because I can remember my first home varsity match.
Scoreboards look the same.
No. The scoreboards were up until a few years ago in the old barn, the Salt Gym, but
Metal yellow advertisement.
No. That came, I think, my senior year. So, and I like I said, I was up 5-4, and then the match ended not in favor of me.
Ooh. You can't. Sometimes it keeps you up at night, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I remember. The kid got 3rd in state the year before. Came out there, reversed him. I was up 5-4, and then he got mad. So that was Aiden O'Meara. I believe we've got
a headgear over the eye going on right now.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, look at that!
Austin Schmidt with the pin over Mr. Frank Wax. Another junior, both juniors. That's the other thing about the headgear. Most of the kids don't have it adjusted correctly. And I love the Cliff Cleans, and that gentleman from Spring Valley was wearing them, but it needs to be adjusted over the top, or you see somebody like Mr. Hunter Gartman will cross them.
Yep.
Max will cross his, so they stay up there. They never come down.
So we got a forfeit here. I'm going to tell you about members of Wisconsin Credit Union can access account information and take care of most everyday banking needs via Wisconsin Online, the mobile app, and text banking. Immediate access to your Wisconsin accounts is also available 24 hours a day via touch-tone phone. Contact Wisconsin Credit Union to learn more.
So, well, Mr. Hunter Gartman got a forfeit at 152. The Spring Valley's gentleman, Cole Steinmeier, was injured earlier. Really Solid kid, though. I mean, I've seen him wrestle around. Puts in some time of wrestling. You start seeing him at tournaments, in the cities or Rochester. Andrew Thompson, another freshman that's been wrestling some varsity for us. He's doing a great job. Gets the forfeit at 160. Solid. He had a tough one, his first one, but now we got Logan Gordon, a junior, wrestling 170. He's another situation where he's not 170 pounds, so he eats freely all day long, all week long, while the other guys are watching their portions. In Spring Valley, I think did they say Mirth or Joel Anderson?
Joel Anderson.
Joel Anderson.
And who said that? That was Don Timmerman of Timmerman Realty. You can contact him for all your realty needs. You can reach him by phone at 715-684-9541 or by email at dontimmerman@baldwin-telecom.net.
And you can see him, I've run into Don and some fish fries.
Don is a man of the people.
Yes, he is. The governor, I think, is what a lot of people call him.
Yep, he's the governor.
Great guy. Loves doing it. Loves high school sports. It's fun talking sports with him. And he's taught me a little about basketball, which I know very little of.
That's not true.
Well, I know the stats, know the names.
You're learning that. You're learning volleyball.
Yeah, volleyball. I'm really enjoying. Blackhawk TV has brought this all to me.
That's what we tried to do.
Well, the only downfall, I was going to go to the boys' hockey game the other night.
Okay.
And I got called in to plow snow. Otherwise, I felt so bad I missed the tennis meet this year, but I've seen soccer, volleyball, girls hockey, girls basketball, boys basketball.
You're also a man of the people.
Well, I got to get out and support them. You and Jordan Lehman told me that Prescott and Baldwin were going to be the top two teams in the conference. And I went to the game and I was like, oof, must be early.
It was. Prescott's really good.
Yeah, they look pretty good. They had that Dallas Wallen, the little Energizer bunny.
Yep.
The one kid, every time he stepped over half court,
Jordan Malmoff.
he would just nothing but the bottom of the net. I'm thinking somebody's got to follow him. Take him into the bleachers.
He had 8 threes on Saturday against Regis.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He's a junior and Dallas is a sophomore, so they got some time yet.
No, and I kind of noticed that I watching Baldwin, they've got a lot of height, they've got some talent, they just haven't found their groove. And I watched the Central game, which, they kind of went in that little drought, but they've got a lot of ability.
Yep. They're going to be okay.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. The girls have been fun to watch. New coach. Oh, nice takedown by Logan on a simple go behind. He blocked that arm, and once he blocked the arm, he went behind, got a simple 2. Nothing special about that move. It's sometimes you just, when you wrestled with your brother, you wanted to get on top, and you just did it. So that's nice. That's a good. Logan's been on varsity for 3 years. I don't know if he's ever been at his weight, what he weighs. He's always got stuck by Hunter Gartman, Austin Schmidt, Sam Crowley. He just, couldn't beat them in a wrestle off, and he's always ended up at a weight above. So.
Or maybe he just likes to eat.
Well, it could be. That could be too. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why heavyweights is a good weight to be too.
If I was a wrestler, there's no way I would have been like, no, I'm not going to eat that school lunch today. Give me all the food.
And that's one thing here that we do talk to the kids. I mean, believe it or not, I have no problem saying my waistline is pretty big, but eat the proper foods. I mean, the weight cutting of years past, so you just didn't eat, it's kind of a thing of the past. I was talking to Jordan Lehman, and Max is dropping down weight. He's still eating 3,000 calories a day to get down to, and he's losing weight. I know Ty Fink's really got his diet under control. You see him munching on something all the time. There we go. Nice 2 takedown. Behind him, I know that guy's got his arm trapped a little bit, but if he can, bring it up and get a 2-on-1, that's a nice, 2 hands on his forearm, and he can bump him forward. That's a tough ride. That's a tough ride.
Yeah, the mat, I mean, it doesn't look super forgiving, so when you're slammed down into it, I can't imagine it feels good.
No, it doesn't feel the best, but you'd be surprised what the 2 inches of cushioning does. I'm not a big fan of kneeling on any hardwood floors anymore, but I can still get out on a mat, drop down to a knee, and it doesn't bother me. Just getting back up turns into the adventure.
You better win when you get it on the mat, right?
I haven't. I quit wrestling on the mat at least 7 years ago.
So that was the last time you and Max wrestled then? 7 years ago?
Oh no, we'll wrestle Greco, and we'll do that around the house.
I'm sure Tara loves that.
Well, maybe someday Max will get good enough, but
Ooh. Ooh.
no, I think Mansu, and he was a freshman. It was the last time I wrestled a match, and that's got to be what, 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
It might even be more than that.
Yeah, it's been a while.
More than that. He was the only year he graduated in 12.
Ooh, Logan's got a nice wrapped them tight end of period. Yeah, it might be. He's 21 now, so 7 years. But
Matsu?
yeah, maybe he's in 22.
I thought he was older than that.
No.
Oh no, you're right.
He's.
I was thinking Lauchi.
Yeah, Lauchi's. Oh, that was about 2013. Oh, that's a nice double leg. He's just got to finish that. He's got to keep driving through them. Logan sliding up to the headlock is. It's a better percentage to stay in the legs, but some kids just like to reach up for the head, and something they learned when they're young, and sometimes it's hard to change it. The one thing, even though if this gentleman weighs 170, Logan isn't much lighter than him. He's just a very lean kid. But he's got a pretty good gas tank. So looking at him, you can kind of tell he's vascular. You know, you see some muscles. You know that those guys are in shape. So we're just hoping, he's up 10-1, but you want to wrestle through the entire period. You want to get caught at the end, give up a pin or a lot of points. Nice little roll through. The guy had a headlock, dropped his level and rolled through, and he got 2. He's up 12-1. And let me guess, he's digging out the arm to put him on its back. He's got it on the back now.
Ooh,
Had it. When you put all, so if you don't watch a lot of wrestling and the guy's way off to the side with 2 hands on the arm and only a little pressure on the shoulder, people say get up and get away. It hurts when the guy's digging out an arm like that to put on your back. The last thing you think about is getting away.
Let's try to take a little peek up at the clock there, I think.
25 seconds. Somebody says they're glad you're learning a little wrestling now.
Who says that?
Somebody named PJ.
I mean, I learn a little bit at a time.
Well, our next match, Logan Gordon, 14-3 is how the match ends. That will be 14 points for Baldwin Woodville. And I kind of lost track because we had a couple of forfeits in there, a quick pin and 2 forfeits.
Two quick pins.
Yeah, 2 quick pins. 38 was 40. Oh yeah, 38-45, and then 2 forfeits. So here comes Lindsey Stark, and we just talked to Mr. Kyle Marty. Kyle's another one that isn't quite 182 yet. But it's just, we had the wrestle-offs, and that's where he's at. We'll have wrestle-offs again next week for guys that want to challenge. And then Coach Newt likes to mix it up, too, and he'll just make wrestle-offs. So it's now 34-0 Baldwin over Spring Valley. but Coach Newt does mix it up pretty good. Another coach, Cole Tobin, he ran he was the soup on the football, baseball, and the swimming pool project. Works for Kraus Anderson. His wife is a teacher at elementary school.
And softball coach.
And softball coach.
I think what you told me last year about Cole Tobin is that he wrestled Otis in high school.
Yes, he did. And I think Otis knows who's the better wrestler. It'd be Cole.
Otis looks different now. He cut his hair. He's.
I was asking him about that. I think Cole was a year older. Otis won state the year after Cole did. I think Cole was the big roadblock in his way when he was a junior. And was he going by roadblock, or is that another guy?
No,
or road grader or something when he first started?
I'm not sure.
So
he never did the worm in high school?
No. Well, if you talk to Cole, he might say that he made him do the worm after he took him apart. But
no, he's a tag team guy now with Chad Gable.
Yes.
Is it Chad Gable? Chad Gable?
I don't watch. I've been watching a little more AEW. I find the storylines a little better. But I forget what Chad Gable's name is, because he was a college wrestler also. Because there's talk of Kurt Angle coming back to manage him. So Kyle Marty got a takedown, and let's guess what he's doing. Running an armbar. He's got that in sunk deep. Oh, that's nice.
Oh man, that looks like it hurts. You say nice, I say oof.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to do that, right?
Yeah, and everything he did was legal. The hand went up higher, they'd stop it. They call it the old chicken wing. But also, if you can't get it, now Max will run the armbar on bigger guys. Bigger guys is just harder. There's just so much more mass.
Right.
And he will he'll put in an armbar and ride a guy for a while. And if you ride it, even if you get in and just attempt to turn it a little bit, it'll make your arm go numb. So when you're wrestling a big guy and you got an armbar in for a minute, the next period, the guy's really thinking twice about going down, or you can attack his other arm because that arm's still numb.
Yeah.
Kyle with a reversal, up 7-0. And she's got a solid base here, so he's got the 2-on-1. What he needs to do is bump her from the back and get her forward. The problem some of these kids make is they try to take them straight forward. You got to kind of take them at an angle. So you imagine a table with only 3 legs, you take it over where that one leg's missing.
Right. I think not everybody, but most people in the gym are watching Max dance during this cheer. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing that the camera. It was definitely a good thing the camera wasn't on Max.
Oh, is he leading the cheers like he did in volleyball?
Oh, no, he was showing how he moves his hips a little bit.
Actually, Max did talk to the cheerleaders. I did advise the cheerleaders the practice starts at 4, but between 3:30 and 4, a lot of the kids are in there practicing their cartwheels and their back handsprings and flips. We have a very athletic, I think there's 7 kids now that can do flips on the team, back flips.
Any of them going to do that after a win?
That is a team point misconduct. Can't do backflips.
You lose 1 point?
Yeah, the team does.
Well, if it's 34-0, I feel like you got a point to lose.
Well, there's also, if you're up like that, don't show up your other opponent. You see it down at state every year, and that point doesn't really matter for anything. Or at least it does and doesn't, but all the kids, if you win a state title, go ahead and do a backflip, shake your hips. I don't care.
Just not before?
Yeah, just not before. I mean, you won a state title. You work for it. Enjoy it.
Oh, that looks like it hurts.
Yes, that's really stretched. Oh, yeah. She bridged out of that into a potentially dangerous. Once your neck goes over a certain degree, puts really weird pressure on there. But Kyle got his 10 points. They got to stop it for safety. So he's not, as they say in Slapshot, he doesn't have to go to the penalty box and think about his bad decisions. So going in the third period, she takes neutral. Miss Stark does 10-0.
Is that Brady Hansen, our tall guy?
The what? Say that again.
Brady Hansen.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Brady, I just talked with him this morning.
What grade is he in now?
8th grade.
8th grade.
8th grade. Fun kid. Fun kid. He's going to be out for wrestling. His dad, really good wrestler, was a college All-American at Tasca Junior College. At a weight much lighter than he is now. But he's helped out Coach. He's a lot of fun to have in the room. He's on staff with when Coach Rumpel was there. But he's no stranger to showing up in the room or helping out with the middle school. So Kyle with the takedown to expand his lead to 12-0. At this point, I think the ref should start warning the bottom for stalling. She's kind of balling up and not allowing any wrestling. But when you're down 12-0, it's pretty hard. And your arms on your back, it's not a lot of fun.
What was that? You can't do what?
I'm not sure. I was trying to listen too. I think they said to cut her and take her down. You know, but also some of these kids don't even want to give up a point.
Right.
You know, like I said, you know, Kyle's working hard. He's really improving. A lot of fun to have in the room. But some of the kids, you know, we need team points when we maybe wrestle Northwestern on Thursday or Spooner. That instead of a 3-point decision, we need a 4-point decision.
Right.
So it's hard to put it on kids that are just getting their groove on varsity. I mean, a Ty Fink we asked, you know, Max, Hunter Gartman. Hey, I was also going to ask you, Jeremy, what do you think about Baldwin's new singlets?
Flashy.
I'm not a white fan, but I really, when these guys designed it, I kind of liked them.
Do you just not like white in general, or just white singlets?
I'm not a big fan of white singlets. The first thing when we met with the rep, and he showed they're really not see-through. So, because sometimes white ones get thin and you can see.
Yeah, absolutely. Are we going to get to watch Max wrestle?
Nope.
Son of a gun.
Well, the only other, the coach, as I was saying earlier, Gable, not many guys in this gym is going to go very long with Gable still. But over the years, Gable's a guy that still likes to just wrestle. And a couple years ago, he told me, he's like, boy, is it fun wrestling, Max. I can go 100% now. And those two have rolled around in various rooms over the years. You can give him a call, and he's like, yep, I'll wrestle.
Well, he should have come out.
What?
He should have come out.
He probably would afterwards. He's that kind of guy.
It'd be fun to watch. I'm going to read this quick before we start. St. Croix Garage Doors provides Western Wisconsin with top quality garage door sales, service, and installation. We proudly serve Baldwin, Woodville, Hudson, Richmond, River Falls, Stillwater, Menominee, and surrounding areas. Give Brian a call today at 715-781-89 for a quote, install, or service. So the man of many words, Dylan Hansen.
Yep, the man of many words. He's a great kid. He's PJ gave a shout out to her cousin, Lindsay, that lost from Spring Valley. But now we've got Dylan Hansen, and I believe it's Tracy Anderson. What is Tracy, a junior or a sophomore? Junior.
Oh.
It looks like he's got some talent. When we talked earlier, he's a little green, this Mr. Anderson is, but pretty solid performance tonight. Big Dylan. He's a kid. I don't know if anybody works harder than him in the wrestling room. And it sounded like Coach Kiefer said he's a hard worker in the weight room, hard worker in the football team. So up here comes Big Mason Baraboo. He just came out. He missed the first tournament, first duels. Now he's out. Had a decent performance last weekend. Had a nice pin earlier today against a kid that was probably cutting a little weight to get under 285.
So he didn't come out right away?
No, he didn't.
He wrestled last year, though, right?
Yeah, he did. He made sectionals as a freshman. He does well. Mason works hard in the room, especially we have Cole Tobin. We talked about him earlier, and Cole wrestled for the Badgers. Was their guy for 2 years. So, I mean, whenever you got a D1 athlete in your room or on the court or wherever, you like to use them as much as possible.
Right.
So that brings the score now 50-6 Baldwin over Spring Valley. But this should be a decent match out. Like I said, this Casey Gal is just, she's a tough little wrestler. She's very talented. Her older brother's 132. Comes from Maja, was a state champ from Plum City in the 90s.
Who's wrestling for us?
Drake Gartman.
Drake Gartman.
Another brother combo. His other brother's at 152, or his, well, I think he's got a younger one, yeah. But a takedown by Drake. He's, on the ankle, broke her down sideways. He's just got to work up and look for the half Nelson or the armbar.
I think we know where we're going here, Dave.
Yes, I think we do too. Though we did see a couple cradles this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, so a little different on top. Yeah, like I said, Drake is a freshman, just getting his wheels under him. The first tournament was last weekend. You know, we have that descent plan, so whenever you weigh in, the clock starts, and you can only lose X amount per day. And sometimes it's hard. Oh, nice. I believe it was a bar and a half. Brings us out to 113. We're going to send out Mr. Colton Hush.
And I'm going to read one more ad. Precision Excavating Enterprises is a full-service excavating, grading, and trucking contractor located in Baldwin, offering all types of residential and commercial earth-moving, septic systems, demolition, landscaping, driveways, and building sites. Our trucking division offers dump truck, grain hopper, and flatbed hauling services, sand, gravel, and fill delivery. Serving the Baldwin surrounding western Wisconsin areas, give us a call at 715-760-0768 for free estimates.
So I've been getting a few text messages from coaches in the area that if you're a wrestling guy, you're going to watch wrestling. It doesn't matter if it's 3 in the morning, it's Monday, it doesn't matter. But quick little shout out to the area one, Mr. Brad Holzer. We're going to have a meet with them. That's our other home meet. It's only going to be a duo, but we're looking. It's going to be senior night. I want to give Coach Holzer the heads up. It's going to be senior night. It's going to be parents' night, and it's also going to be the cheerleaders from both basketball and wrestling are going to do a performance. And I'm throwing this out here because I'll forget, because I was looking at having an intermission, have the cheerleaders, make it kind of a big night. So it's not till January 20th, but Brad at some point remind me, and maybe we'll make it a night, because I know they've got a really good team this year, and they'll bring a lot of fans over.
So it's just a duel.
It's just a duel.
And that's the only other one we host this year, right?
Yep. It's the only other one. We're working on another one. It might end up here, but more than likely it'll end up in the cities.
So on Thursday, January
20th,
our girls basketball plays at Central and wrestling comes over here.
Yep. So in Central always brings a crowd, and with their girls basketball, I'm sure people stay to watch that, but we hope to get a lot of people in the stands for that. Good area duel. But Spring Valley forfeited to Colton Hush, and they brought out LaCroix out at 120 to face Colton Hush or Cole Brosh. Now Cole Brosh got a takedown here, but I watched that this LaCroix have a good match against Ellsworth, against Levi Nelson, and picked up the W there. So It should be a good match here to end their night. I'm hoping it goes in our favor. Oh boy, it could go a little quicker. 2 back points and an escape. So that makes it 4-1 Cole Brosh. So by the way, how was Raw on Monday night?
I didn't go.
You didn't go.
No, we have a little bit of illness going on in our house, so we didn't go.
Well, that's too bad. Thought you could tell me something good that was happening.
Well, I mean, I watched Otis on the TV.
Yes, that is Brady out there. Oh, and talking about that, I think Max had 3 seniors going to NDSU this year.
Like senior wrestlers or just
senior students.
schools?
1 basketball player. I think the engineering is what they're looking at.
Huh. Are they still playing football right now?
No, they lost, I believe. I forgot what team. Quick reversal. Cole Brosh started the second down. Quick reversal. He's now on top. He's up 6-1 or 6-3, and he's riding.
So what do you know? What do we have for relatively local Division II and Division III schools? Because I know Whitewater got beat in the semifinals.
I don't think any. I have not followed it, Jeremy. I don't think. Of course, I follow Augustana, and they lost in the first round. So Bemidji State in D2, they beat them. I don't know if Bemidji how they did after that. Yeah, you got me.
I'm sure you did hear, though, that Steph Curry just broke the all-time three-point record.
Yeah, and I heard that Ray Allen had something to say about it. Oh, nice. It escaped by Mr. LaCroix, and Cole Brosh answers with a 2 nice single leg into a double. I did just read a little article by Paul George that about 6-7 years ago, Larry Bird was still the GM, came in, and they were all talking about how good Steph Curry was. He loosened up his tie, rolled up some sleeves, and drained 15 straight shots from about 27 feet. And he walked out of the gym. And George goes, ooh, he might have been good.
Yeah, a little bit different game back then. I mean, people didn't shoot it as much.
Well, they did, but it was, get down low. I mean, they had the big guys were big guys, your Artis Gilmores.
But they didn't. They just didn't shoot it as much. I mean, from a volume standpoint, Larry Bird never made 100 three-pointers in a year.
Yeah, somebody broke that down.
Karl Anthony Towns makes 100 three-pointers every year. Like it's a different era of basketball.
Yeah, I know that they broke him down. What would have Larry done? And it wasn't. He didn't shoot a lot, but I think his percentage was pretty solid.
Yeah, no, he was a great shooter.
But I give credit for a guy that had a bad right hand, and he still scored 40 shooting left-handed.
He did do that.
So, 10-4 now, both on their feet to start the third. Cole's got an underhook, looking for the far knee, driving through. There you go. There's 2, and there's some back points. Ref was a little slow on that call, maybe I saw something that I didn't, but now he's got the vaunted half Nelson. Oh, he had the half in the wrist, but just didn't work. The strategy I'd pull just to get some more points, get Cole in that groove. He's had a good year, a little up and down. I think to get down to 120, he had a little more work than I think he wanted to. Now he's holding the weight pretty good, starting to get good practices put in. I would probably have him cut him and take him down again. Help with the gas tank a little bit, give him more confidence, but You know, at this point, I think the coaches are letting them dictate the match. And not the most ideal spot. You got to come through. At one point, you want to put the leg on the other side of the head and kind of roll through and you come up, but it's also smart not to be rolling anywhere to your back when you got a big lead.
So what's the next wrestling on the schedule?
Thursday night, Spooner, Wisconsin.
Will that be streamed?
I don't have any clue how that's going to work, but Cole Brosh with the major decision, 17-4, brings the score to 66-6 for the final.
Well, if you get that information, share it with me, and I'll post it on the Facebook so people know where to go.
Yeah, that would be good. I just Northwestern was talking about bringing some people down the stream, but it should be fun. I'm sure a lot of them use the We Are Spooner or whatever their nickname is. So, all right. Well, Jeremy, thank you for the evening.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back live from the booth Friday night when we host the Ellsworth Panthers in a game of basketball, boys basketball. So enjoy the rest of the week. We'll see you Friday night.
Yeah. Yankee committed for football, the UMD.
Jack Janke.
Jack.
Janke.
Janky. Yankee, Janky, same thing.
Close. Yeah, he did. UMD to play football. So he will be here. He is the leading scorer of the Ellsworth Panthers. Fun to watch on the basketball floor, and we'll be back Friday night. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night, and we'll see you later.